Hello, everyone. What's going on? My name is Timpedia, and welcome back to the TNT podcast. Sorry, just a very funny conversation that we had right before we started.
Jumped straight in the opening.
Hell yeah, dude. That was. Tyler picked it up when I got really dead quiet for that second there. I think Tyler got what I was going for.
Yes.
But anyway, before we keep going, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Timpedia. On my left.
You got Friedman, also known as Andrew, but mostly known as Friedman.
And then on my right.
And then just Tyler. That's
And,
just Tyler.
We don't have a ton of news
Just
this week.
Tyler.
We don't have mountains of news this week. Freeman, as always, added like 5 weeb shit things right at the last.
That's fine.
second.
Most of them will be real quick,
There's
always.
a bunch of Magic news. Sorry, Tyler, but there was a big Pro Tour tournament this weekend, so we got to talk about it a little bit.
It's all right. I got my blanket for my nap.
We got some of the coolest news of the year already. Some Sony news, and we're gonna start off though. So the big Swooper Swole happened. What was it? 48 hours ago now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Roughly.
So Tyler,
After that
actually, it's
foosball game that no one gives a shit about.
funny. So I was actually Skyping you and Leslie, me and Val were, while the game was going on, and I looked at my phone, and I swear to God, I told you that the Patriots had won 33-32.
Yeah, you lied.
So I swear to God, Google said that at end of regulation, 33-32, and then I was shocked to find like an hour later, oh, the Eagles actually won in the game. Like, that was it.
Yeah, I don't know how they reported it. There was still like a good 5 minutes left on the clock. Translation,
no
it was like
idea.
the last half hour of the game where the Eagles were up by 8 points.
I have absolutely no idea. But anyway, we're here to talk about, we want to talk about a few of the trailers, a few of the spots, not too many, but we're going to start with being the Star Wars thing. So right after the Super Bowl, the only thing I watched, I didn't watch the Avengers one, but I watched the Solo spot, and I actually tweeted about it, and I said, this was but there was a shot, if you guys saw that last shot of the actual trailer where there's that Star Destroyer in that cloud,
Yeah.
that looked cool. That was the one cool shot from the spot, and everything else I didn't care about. The spot literally just had, like, shots. There was almost no dialogue. It was just an Imperial officer talking to Han, basically. But now, the full trailer came out, and the three of us just watched it 2 minutes before coming on here, and we were starting to talk about it, and I said, no, let's save it. So what I was going to say, as soon as we all stopped finishing it, what did we all say?
That acting was shit.
Like Han Solo's acting is the worst part about this trailer.
It
So-
is.
So
Oh my god.
I like that last shot of the trailer where he turns around and has that line is fucking like. Could he have a less charisma? But
Right? I feel like they got the dude who's supposed to play like one of the most charismatic characters in the Star Wars lore.
and he's a
Be
wet
this
blanket.
motherfucker.
They just got like
Dude,
the
it's
bad
bad.
comic relief guy to play the role.
Is it
Yeah.
weird? Is it weird that do you think that we're saying that because let me back up. The thing I was going to say that I stopped myself from saying is, do you guys remember when that report came out that he needed like a
Yes.
vocal coach on set and there was so much shit going on with this movie?
You know,
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that until I watched the trailer.
So here's the thing. That came out, and then there were a bunch of people, or at least a few articles that I read where people were like, that's ridiculous. There's no way that that's true. It can't be going that bad. This movie's still going to be good. And
I see it now.
I'm like, and I was like, I hope that's not true. It would, as much as I don't want to see this movie, just on principle, I would be sad if that was true, but I totally believe that he needed someone on set.
Yeah.
I'm like just imagining them filming scenes where it's like him and what's her name, Emilia Clarke, like going scene to scene, and he just can't remember any of his lines on the scene. 'Cause she's like a really good actress. But
It's
like,
not even remembering the
sound of it,
lines.
he's
He
just
like
like bad
bored.
at acting.
He's like, what was the line from the fucking trailer?
At the end?
Yeah,
Everything's fine.
It's like, see, everything's fine.
there's something like that, and he's like, see, everything's fine. And it's
And it
like,
was just
dude,
delivered just like that.
Dude, how boring are
Delivered.
you? You're Han Solo, dude. You should ooze confidence. I get that they're going for young Solo, and they're like, oh, maybe he hasn't grown into being a scruff.
Nah, that's
nerf
bullshit.
herder.
No, I need to
Nah,
see
fuck you.
the man who would sire Ben Swallow here. This guy's got to
Yeah.
be the
No.
greatest.
You could
Yeah.
actually make an argument that age might have tempered him, and he could have been a super arrogant asshole as a kid. This guy comes off as the wannabe arrogant asshole. The guy who's like,
I'm not giving it that much credit.
Oh man, you're even below that, Tyler.
Absolutely.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. I always imagined that he was like the snarky asshole that always gets away. Like, he's that asshole that, like, you see succeed through life, and you're like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
And he's been that way since day one, and nothing's changed about him.
No, but also, really, are we gonna have a heist movie? I had
After having the mini heist
I had no idea
from
that this
the
was
last
just a
Star Wars
heist
movie.
That high speed chase in space.
Yeah,
Oh,
they want
God.
that fast. They want that Fast and the Furious.
Fast and
movie.
Furious.
But like
Intergalactic
actually, though,
drift.
I had no idea that this was supposed to am I wrong? It seems like this is just going to be a heist movie.
Yeah, no, it is.
Like I didn't know
Well,
that.
that's what
and
Woody
then-
Harrelson said.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson's like, I'm putting together a team. You know what's funny?
I'm getting
You know what's
really
funny?
sick of these fucking movies, though. Yeah, what's funny?
So there's actually, in the old expanded universe, there's totally a thing. There's actually a book where Han, Lando, and Lando put together a team of people to break into a guy's house. That totally happens. There's a book about that. Except they're not nearly as young. They're young, but not that young. And there's like an actual reason. Basically, like, Han gets blackmailed into doing it, and then he tricks all the other people into doing it by saying that they're going to get lots of money, but in reality, he just wants this thing. And that explains why Lando. It's not an amazing story, but it's cool. There's some goofy shit they do involving like they basically do. Maybe that's why they basically do in the Fast and the Furious thing where they release a vault and have it roll around in the city.
No, Jesus.
But anyway, so Solo. The last word I'm gonna have on it is I watched the spot in bed after the Super Bowl, and Val saw that I was watching, and she's like, I'm just gonna make you go see that movie, right?
Oh, Jesus, no.
Rogue One was good though, and you didn't think that was gonna be good, and I was like, yeah, but Rogue One didn't look actively bad like this does. I can't remember, but I'd like to think at no point did I think, wow, that looks like actual dog shit, bad on every level kind of movie, whereas this just like, at least I didn't think the acting looked like trash in the trailer for Rogue One.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about some other ones. I didn't watch the third one on this list. We'll talk about the other one because it's kind of a double story. Did you guys watch?
Again.
No, did you guys watch the Jeff Goldblum?
I was watching the game, so I saw all these commercials. But there was this big Jeff Goldblum commercial where it's just a cut out of the original Jurassic Park who's getting chased by the T-Rex. Then they cut to old Jeff Goldblum still getting chased by a T-Rex.
No way.
But then
God.
he just hits the brake and the T-Rex keeps going. So he starts chasing the T-Rex with his Jeep, and then it kind of zooms out and he's just kind of sitting in a Jeep at like a dealership. And it was just 100% just tie in with the new Jurassic Park movie.
Wait, so it was just a Jeep commercial?
Yes.
Oh, I thought there was...
God.
Hold on. I thought there was a fucking Fallen World
Yeah.
trailer. I know there was.
Maybe I missed it, but I
God damn it,
distinctly
Freeman, that's what
remember.
I thought you were talking about.
I distinctly remember seeing this stupid fucking Jeep commercial.
I mean, that's terrible, but I know there was an actual Jurassic World or Fallen World trailer, and I didn't watch it. Mostly because I know I'm not going to see that movie, as much as I love my boy Chris Pratt.
I'm definitely not seeing it. He did not convince me the last movie.
He was the only good part of the last movie. The last movie was decent, but
Yeah, this is the
this
trailer
movie
I
looks
saw.
like dog shit. Like, I saw the trailer
It's
for
literally
this.
just a Jeep commercial.
Okay, that's
Oh, man.
a Jeep commercial. There's no way that's the... I just see the thumbnail and it looks like the T-Rex's mouth next to Jeff Goldblum's window. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's right. He's trying to pass him.
On your left. I saw the trailer and it's like Chris Pratt running in a field with the volcano going off at the dinosaurs.
Wait, is it the same one that came out like months ago?
I guess so. I saw it. Whatever
where
I
they
saw
show off like the
Star
entire
Wars.
volcano sequence.
Yeah, where he's running and they're in the glass bubble, and the glass bubble goes over the cliff, and he disappears in the cloud.
I could have sworn we talked about this, but yeah, the trailer.
We did talk about it. I'm just saying. I'm reaffirming I don't want to see the movie because that made me just like fall out of my seat. My eyes rolled so hard.
God.
All right, but let's talk about the greatest heel turn. Like,
holy shit!
Like that was unexpected.
Wait,
so
what do you mean unexpected?
We're talking about the Cloverfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, are we talking about? I didn't expect
this movie previously had no release date announced. On Super Bowl Sunday, during like the second or third commercial break, they show a trailer for the Cloverfield movie saying releasing after the Super Bowl. And then later on, like right after it ended, the trailer played again with now live on Netflix.
Well, no, I'm not saying that's the heel turn. That was amazing. Tyler, we were on Skype when we talked about this, and I was like, holy shit, that's insane. The heel turn here. So I don't. So I don't. Okay, let me clarify what I mean by heel turn. I've only heard of this because of people I watch who do wrestling videos, and they mention heel turns. Apparently, heel turn is when the good guy goes bad in wrestling. I don't.
Oh
know
yeah.
No, isn't it the other
I thought
one?
you watched wrestling.
Yeah, no, I didn't know what you were talking about though in this context. I was like,
am I wrong about what a heel turn is?
No, you're correct. No, Tim's correct. I've watched wrestling for a long time.
All right. Either way, the heel turn here is that
I'm thinking of heel face turn. Forget it.
Yeah, face turn. Yeah. So the heel turn here is that I woke up this morning to multiple headlines about how this movie is shit.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
On Rotten Tomatoes last night, it had about an 11%, I think.
Oh jeez!
Let's get a hot take as of right now.
Oh no!
Top story on CNN: Cloverfield Paradox splashes then crashes on Netflix. All right.
Oh no!
Jeez.
Netflix and the future of suckering moviegoers.
Oh,
this is a real lesson.
20% tomato.
This is a real lesson. They did the same shit with Death Note. It's the whole sudden release. You don't need to pay for it. People will watch it. But guess what? They can throw hot trash at you, and you're gonna watch it anyway because you just got bamboozled.
Yo, damn!
I don't want it to be hot trash. Fuck.
God damn. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's what I meant by the heel turn, is that it went from look at how sick this is the future of movies, announcing and then releasing because it's the best type of shit these days, and then oh wait, apparently the movie's not good.
Man, that's not even an audience score. It's like not even like it's not like Bright where apparently the audience really liked it.
The audience score is 57 on Rotten Tomatoes.
That means it's actual shit.
So apparently people who say it's good say you get a lot of references to the other Cloverfield movies, but I didn't even watch 10 Cloverfield Lane. And I watched the original movie like one time, and I just remember it because it was the only big monster movie we like ever fucking had for 10 years.
For real, Tim? We watched it. Me and Leslie watched it last
night. She told me, yeah. What'd you how is it?
I mean, I like it. That's the second time I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Up until a certain point in the movie, oh man, I wish I could say it, but like Tim, you of all people will know it when you see it. There's one line that is delivered, and you will just die. You'll laugh your ass off.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's at the very end of the movie.
Oh boy, I'll laugh my ass off. That's the kind of shit I like to hear.
Which is weird, right? Because John Goodman does a fantastic performance in that movie.
He looked cool and creepy.
He is, and he brings it. He brings it. And there's like one line that like fucks me up. It doesn't like ruin anything. Like like they're all in the bunker, right?
Yep.
And he's talking about his daughter to what's her face from Scott Pilgrim. Ramona Flowers. Yeah, he's talking to Ramona Flowers, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Michelle liked cooking. You'll learn to love cooking too." And the way he said it was the creepiest thing.
Oh god.
And she like gives him this look like, "Oh fuck." Oh no. But yeah, I liked it. I liked the movie.
So you didn't get to watch this yet, though.
No, I didn't watch this yet. I don't even know if I want to watch it. I know we were talking about, we shouldn't let, the critics decide, but man, I
mean,
when you get this overwhelming amount from not even just critics, but from just people in general.
Yeah, everybody says it's bad. Maybe I might skip. It depends. Leslie and I are gonna watch it. We're gonna give it a shot, but I don't think we're gonna.
All right.
See.
People need to know. People need to know what their fake news and real news is, and you're gonna get your real review next week from Tyler about whether this movie's worth watching or not.
Hold on, Freeman. I just Googled Super Bowl 2018 trailers, and there is fucking totally a Fallen Kingdom actual trailer.
Let's check this out.
I know I keep harping on this, but it's definitely okay. So there's that one. There was the Solo thing, something called Skyscraper that has The Rock in it. I don't know.
No one cares.
Mission Impossible Fallout. I don't know anything, and I haven't watched them that much. I haven't watched the newest one, but
how many fucking?
Oh wait, my bad. Yeah, I did see this one. The problem is, literally nothing happens in this.
Oh well, that's good too.
It was like half clips from the last one and half new one, so I wasn't paying very close attention.
Good call. No, the only thing I wanted to say about Mission Impossible is that Jeremy, the guy who does CinemaSins narration, he has been loving all of the new Mission Impossibles actually since they kind of came back a few years ago. Whatever that one like Rogue, was it Rogue Nation or the one before that even?
I don't remember.
There was a good.
I haven't watched any of them.
Apparently, the new ones have all been pretty good, and he said this one looks hype as shit. Tom Cruise broke his ankle on set. Which
oh, damn.
I remember seeing a clip. I don't even know what show it was from. I don't really care, but I just watched a clip because it was Tom Cruise and some of the other people from Mission Impossible on this guy's show, and they brought the clip of Tom Cruise breaking his ankle, and they watched it together. And you can see them react to Tom Cruise jumping against a building and his right foot suddenly bending like 90 degrees the wrong way. It's fucked up.
No.
Something called A Quiet Place. No idea.
Yeah, me and Leslie are hyped for that movie.
What is it? I don't even know.
It's got Jim Halpert and Emily Bluntface, and I don't like her, but
oh my god,
I'll watch this movie. It's really cool. Have you guys seen? You guys had to have seen the trailer for it.
Is it that spy movie that has Jim in it?
No, completely opposite of a spy thriller.
Because wasn't there that one that I talked about like the other night while we were Skyping? I was like, look, it's Jim.
Yeah, no, A Quiet Place is a horror thriller, I think.
Oh god, definitely haven't seen the trailer then.
Yeah, it's got both of them, and they have like a family in this house, and like no one's saying a word.
Weird. Right?
And like they're all signing to each other. They like the kids are playing Monopoly, but they're rolling the dice on carpet and everything. And then
just
like
quiet.
Yeah, and then one of the kids knocks some shit over like a candle. And Jim Halpert puts it out, and then it's quiet, and then boom, 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 like there's knocks and shit going all over their house, and you don't know what it is. The atmosphere looks kind of creepy, so I want to check that out. It looks solid.
Something called Red Sparrow. It looks like Jennifer Lawrence's
Black Widow.
Russian spy.
Black Widow.
Yeah, that's
Black
fair.
Widow, the movie. That makes me pissed off. Because that makes me upset because it's literally just Black Widow. Leslie refuses to see it because
it's like Jennifer Lawrence doing a Russian accent.
Oh god!
But like, it's the whole thing, the fucking ballerina thing.
Oh, is that? I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, no, like that's the whole Black Widow thing. Like her backstory is in whatever the something house. Where they like teach these little girls to like be fucking assassins, but like, they also teach them like how to be charismatic and use your body and like be like a spy.
Isn't there that Atomic Blonde movie that just came out?
It's almost like there's so many movies that use this backstory.
Yeah, Atomic Blonde was cool as fuck though, but it wasn't. It wasn't. What's it called? It wasn't earth-shattering. There's one gunfight in it that's really good. Charlize Theron, I think she makes the movie. It was super confusing. But, like, if you want to watch it for, like, the action, and Charlize Theron is hot. So I mean, that works.
The only other two things were Avengers: Infinity War and Westworld Season 2. I want to, but I still haven't even watched Westworld Season 1, so...
I'm very curious where they're taking it, just because Season 1, like, they didn't leave you anything to work with. Like, they concluded pretty much everything.
Huh.
So I'm really excited to see what they do with Season 2.
But let's move on to another story where we can actually kind of talk about it for maybe a second.
This one's real quick.
Since you copy and pasted the headline into the...
All right, the man who brought us the meme, Ridge Racer, Sony president and CEO, man who tried to charge us $599 for a console. Former head of it was like Sony Video Gaming, and was the current CEO and president until this week announced he's stepping down. He's still going to have a role on like the board of directors.
You still haven't said the name.
What? I said the president CEO of Sony. Sorry. Kazuo Hirai, who I'm hoping that's the way you pronounce it, is stepping down. I don't know who they've appointed as the new head, but he has been the man behind kind of reforming Sony, cutting off the divisions that were really not profitable, and refocusing Sony. He was part of like what made them turn around from the PS3 into PS4. It's just he was a good president of the company. I'm sad to see him go. I'm curious who they're going to bring in from which division.
So the guy they brought in is apparently another PlayStation guy.
Interesting. I wonder if they're learning the trend, because PlayStation's like their currently most profitable.
That's crazy.
Group, which is weird.
I thought their like insurance was the most profitable or something.
I didn't know Sony sells insurance. I guess they probably
it's only in Japan. They do lots of Japan shit.
That makes sense.
They sell insurance.
Apparently, that's what the podcast I was listening to today said about the story.
But I'm interested to see where this goes for Sony.
I would not buy insurance through them. I'm sorry.
Tyler, you don't live in Japan though.
I know. I'm saying if I did.
Yeah, but you weren't born and raised in the Japan.
Yeah, I was born in West Philadelphia.
Yo, there's actually good news today though. So, I don't know, Tyler, you didn't get to watch this live. Freeman, did you get to watch this live?
I didn't see the video, but I saw the article after it happened.
Okay, so, at like an hour and a half late almost, or even more, I forget. So today was the fateful day where SpaceX launched their Falcon Heavy rocket with Elon Musk's Roadster in the nose of the rocket.
Holy shit.
So
with a dummy in the driver's seat.
It's the greatest thing ever. It's a guy in a spacesuit, and they kept playing the Beatles song about Spaceman. It's great.
They're launching this thing straight towards Mars.
No, it's actually in an orbit where it's just going to float between Earth and Mars. Elon Musk said it should be there for about 1 billion years. It sounds basically like he's trying to park his car in orbit so that he can go pick it up when we finally go to Mars.
Oh my God,
Yo, he's planning ahead.
I really want that to happen in about 20 years. He'll be like, I gotta go pick up my car, guys. Let's go get it to Mars.
He knows that on their maiden voyage they won't have room for a car, so he's hoping to just pick it up mid-flight, and that's how he's gonna get his car on the moon.
He's shipping his car to his new house. That's what he's doing. He's putting it on that auto transport.
So, here's the thing. I don't know about you guys, but I always remember hearing my dad talk about those. We've probably heard, you guys have probably heard your parents say it, and people listening too. Parents like to talk about those historic moments that they got to see, like the moon landing and stuff like that. I'm guessing you guys have heard things like this before.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Or like when Nixon stepped down from being the president. Louis C.K. has a great bit about that one, if I'm allowed to say his name still. I was shocked at how much this floored me. Like, I expected to just have this open on my computer and be like, oh, cool, a rocket. But the whole time, as it built up to countdown, and you heard all these people cheering in the control room, I was actually getting into it, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Watching this thing, like, and being like, come on, don't explode, don't explode. It's gonna be, please keep going. Come on. This is amazing. This is so exciting. And then watching it perfectly separate, and when you saw oh my God, you guys might have or will see the picture. When you see the car just already open up in space as the two boosters open up their fins and do their reverse perfect landing onto their pads in synchronized. Dude,
it's ridiculous.
It was actually like magic. I was like, holy shit, we're in the future. It was crazy. Like, this is the kind of thing that I'll remember, I feel like. And I'll tell my kids, I remember when I saw people shoot a car into space and the rockets... No, seriously. And the pieces of the rocket came back and landed on their own and were able to be reused later.
That is some crazy shit.
The future's now.
It was like, I would like the whole countdown, and you just watch it, and it's just ripping it up there, and you see the pieces fall away, and they have cameras on everything, so you're like, you see from the perspective of the boosters as they come down and their fins suddenly open, and then it cuts to a ground shot, and you just see them, and it looked like one was slightly off, and we still don't, they never posted what happened to the core. It was supposed to land on the drone ship out in the ocean, and a lot of people think that something might have gotten wrong. But it's still, I mean, this was just a test fire, and it was an insane success. It's wild. It's such a cool feeling.
Yeah, he's inventing all these crazy things, but I'm more concerned about where he's hiding the time machine he used to come back in time to bring us all this stuff.
So here's the other thing, actually. So last night, Val was taking a bath, and I was just on my computer, and because I've been looking at SpaceX stuff, YouTube was like, hey, watch this TED Talk that Elon Musk did. I'm like, sure. And I only got about 10-15 minutes in, but he was talking about what the Boring Company wants to do under LA, and they had a never before seen, I don't know how old this video was, but it was this then brand new rendering, and it was like people pull up to a little metal, like a metal plate in the road, basically a parking space that's the size of your car, and this little gate closes, and it lowers, and then the animation shows it lowering into this series of tunnels, and your car is just locked into this little sled thing, and it just zips around at like 130 miles per hour in these tubes underneath Los Angeles.
Jeez.
And seeing this, I was like, are we almost in the future? Are we about to be in sci-fi?
Yo, he's trying to get us there.
Dude, like, everyone's making fun of him because of the flamethrower thing.
No, I'm not making fun of him.
No, I know, but there are
What do you
lots
mean?
of
I'm
people...
jealous of the flamethrower thing.
Well, there are people who are like, this is such a waste. Why would you do this? I mean, look, there's a guy in California legislature who wants to not let him sell the flamethrowers.
Too late.
He had to rename them because customs wouldn't let him ship something overseas called a flamethrower, so they renamed it to not a flamethrower.
The fire shooter.
Right.
Like, what a hero. Who cares if he thinks we're in the Matrix? It doesn't matter. He's like doing more than almost anyone to get us into the future.
Yeah, he's being very conscious about it. But you know what, man? For all we know, he could be an evil bad guy. But I say that with full knowing that those words are blasphemy.
He just seems too bad. But you watch the video of him doing the flamethrower test with his whoever's behind the camera, and he's like laughing as he runs at the guy with the thing, and it's not one of those like I'm gonna kill you laughs. It's more like, haha, I almost killed you laugh.
I almost killed you. No worries, no worries.
I don't know. I just it was one. I just wanted to talk about it a little because it really was like I said, I fully didn't expect to think it was more. I've seen rocket launches before, and I was like, oh, these are cool. Like I love space, and it's cool to see a rocket go up. But this was like, whoa, holy shit, dude!
This was that moment.
This was the like. This is something really important and really cool. Seeing a private company launch this thing into space. It's like, damn, we might actually get to... Because I remember, like, back in, like, 2010 even, when I was... my parents, for Christmas, I think my last year of senior high school, had got me a Popular Science subscription for, like, 2 years, and I still had it. And there was at least one issue that talked about privatized space flight instead of like a jet. You have a space shuttle that goes up and goes like insanely fast in space and then dips back down and lands, and it's supposed to like get you from like Germany to New York in like a half hour or some crazy bullshit or whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, in 2030 maybe that's doable, blah 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 blah. And it's like, oh, that's forever away. That's not even possible. No one will ever do that. And this was the moment where it was like, maybe someday in my lifetime people will actually spend time in space outside of like 5 people on the International Space Station.
The day that science fiction became real.
Kind of, yeah. It kind of is. But let's go away from science fiction. No, what were you going to say, Tyler?
I was saying my buddy got to see that rocket launch
in
today
person
because he's in Florida.
Ooh.
Oh,
He like saw it like in the distance, like go all the way up and like seeing the pieces fall and everything.
So
that's insane.
Obviously, we didn't get to do that, but Destin from Smarter Every Day, he tweeted out that he was doing a collab video, and he was one of the people who was allowed like some of the closest access to the rocket to photograph and video. And he's like, "Yep,
that's
doing
cool.
a video of this," and I'm like, "Fuck yeah." Can't wait to see Mr. Rocket Engineer do a video about the Falcon Heavy. But anyway, time for Tyler to take a nap and us to talk about fantasy instead of sci-fi for a little bit.
On my blanket.
So this past weekend in Magic the Gathering world.
Let's see what Wizards backpedals on this week.
Yeah, seriously. So we had... Oh, God. We had Pro Tour Rivals of Ixalan this past weekend. And this is a big deal because this is the first Pro Tour since Oath or Battle. It had to be Oath.
It was Oath because at that Pro Tour they banned Twin before the Pro Tour to shake things up, and this is when Eldrazi were in Modern with Eye of Ugin completely legal, and it just fucking ruined the format. So ever since then, they haven't done a Modern Pro Tour.
Yes, so this weekend was the first one in a while, and apparently the viewership numbers on Twitch back up the fact that people fucking want to watch Modern.
Yeah.
It was, like, tied for the... According to websites that have only been in existence since, like, our Pro Tour Hour of Devastation, this is, like, the highest or tied for highest Pro Tour in the last year or so. Which isn't saying much because it's only been 4, but still. People like watching Modern. That's for sure. And I gotta say, even the 5 seconds I watched, way more interesting than any standard bullshit. I don't even care. I don't even care if standard is good. I would just want to watch Modern. Modern is so cool. Anything other than standard and limited is exciting for me. Modern, Legacy, and Vintage are all fun to watch. Because I'm like, yeah,
but Wizards doesn't make money, so they're not going to promote it, unfortunately. Modern's the closest we're going to get to any of these. Like, they don't do Legacy or Vintage.
Well, they will do Legacy.
But they're not broadcasting it, are they?
There are Grand Prix team constructeds.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's their way of doing it. But they don't have like dedicated Legacy tournaments.
No, but Star City Games,
like Star City Games is like the lead like Legacy tournament holder.
Speaking of which, this is not related to the Pro Tour, but Freeman, did you see that Star City Games is doing their own convention like HasCon?
We
didn't talk about this. I really, really wish we could go. This thing seems fucking nuts. They're having a Vintage tournament, a Legacy tournament, Modern, Standard, and Commander stuff going on, and Pauper stuff going on. They're like doing fucking everything in one weekend in Virginia.
Why don't you guys just go?
Because it's all the way in Virginia.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys just go?
Because we'd get crushed.
It costs a lot of money.
We would lose.
We would get demolished.
Well, yeah, y'all suck, but that's okay.
No, it's because Black-White Tokens is the meta sleeper that's not quite ready to be tier 1 yet.
I would go and watch Freeman get his ass blasted in Modern, and then we'd go play Commander and also get our ass blasted in Commander.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Not in for that ass blasting at Star City Con or whatever it's called.
SGC Con.
SGC Con.
Dude, this has the potential to be a lot more fucking cool than HasCon, though.
Yeah, actually, though. Because it's not just a giant promotional thing, it's an actual...
If my favorite artist was going, I would totally fucking go, but I don't think she is. That woman who
the French one?
Yeah, who I started really liking her shit lately. She's been going to GPs, but not that. Anyway, the two bits of news, well, the main
Main thing to come out of the Pro Tour?
Yeah. The main thing to come out of it was Modern is great right now. There were like 30 winning decks, apparently, according to the Goldfish podcast I listened to earlier.
Yeah, if you looked at the breakdown of who made it to day 2, I think the biggest representation was like 9% with humans, but it wasn't like a single build of it. The best thing was I was on the breakdown thread, and it was like 17% of the decks were classified as other. And the top comment is, we need to ban this other deck. Too much meta share.
That's funny. Yeah, no, there was... Dude, this is going to be gibberish to people who don't know, which is fine. That's not... It's for us. It's not for them. The finals of this Pro Tour was Lantern Control against Mardu Pyromancer.
Oh my god.
You could have said that 5 minutes before the final and people wouldn't believe you.
No.
That's hysterical.
It's Mardu Pyromancer came out of absolutely nowhere. This has never been a deck.
Never.
And Lantern Control has been like that fun jank brew people have been working on for like 5 years. That it doesn't really have any like that many new cards in it. These cards have been around for forever. But it's really what was the new card that
It's not new, but
okay.
Was the card that made the deck consistent because you could get out a turn 3 ensnaring bridge.
People have been playing this deck for a while though. It's just these jank artifacts, and
dude, no one would play these cards anywhere else in the fucking
deck.
world.
I've literally never seen it in person because of how either A, difficult it is to play, or B, annoying it is to consistently have to play against people.
So Tyler, I know you don't understand the deck at all, that's fine. But literally the goal of this deck is all you do is stop your opponent from drawing a single good card for the entire game, and then you just eventually grind them out or mill them out or usually make them quit.
Yeah, its primary win con is making your opponent quit.
Legitimately, the primary win condition of this deck is to get your opponent to quit because they can't break out of the lock you've established, even though you'll never actually win if it went to time. But you are never going to win, so it's in their interest to quit.
Wow, what kind of bullshit is this?
So here's the thing. In the past, Wizards has banned decks for causing games to go too long at tournaments. The problem with this deck is it itself goes very fast. It's sitting there locking you out of drawing good answers and good cards, but it itself only takes like 30-second turns because it's very simple actions. But you're slowly but surely getting to the point where your opponent will run out of cards. So Tyler, it's not like a deck that's illegal or would get banned for this because it itself doesn't do anything illegal.
So Tyler, let me explain how this deck works. You don't need to know the cards to get how insanely annoying this would be in any game. So the reason it's called Lantern is there's a card that is called like Lantern of Insight or something, and it shows
that's the card.
Both players play with the top card of their library revealed. That's fine. But then you run a ton of there's like a multiple 1-drop artifacts, there's one or two, at least two, where you play them and you tap them, and either one player or both players mill or exile something, the top card of their library. Now, with this Lantern in play and these artifacts on the field, you always see what your opponent is going to draw next turn. And so if you don't want them to draw that card, you just tap one of your artifacts and you mill that card away until you find a card that they'll draw, usually a land that does nothing. And then the other piece is you play this really old busted card. It's busted. Ensnaring
It's about
Bridge.
Academy Runes? Oh, it's Ensnaring Bridge. Yeah.
Then you play this card, Ensnaring Bridge, which says players can't attack if their creatures have more power than the amount of cards in your hand. But since you're running lands and like 1 or 2 drop artifacts, your hand is empty by turn 3, which means nothing can attack you unless it has 0 power. Which, you need to do damage, so you're probably going to be above 0 power. So you can't attack on board, and you're always drawing dead cards unless you manage to draw or they mill through enough good cards in a row that they don't stop every single card.
Jeez.
But the deck is so redundant that it's almost impossible to break the lock, even if you destroy a piece after the lock's been established.
Ironic enough, it's the player going against Lantern that's more often to cause the games to go on longer and longer.
Because they keep trying and they won't give up.
Yeah, it's because it's a matter of time. A lot of games, like pros will know once the lock has basically been established, your best odds are to concede and just sideboard in as much stuff you can to try and stop them from locking you out of game 2.
That's some trolly ass shit.
It's fucking ridiculous, and it won the Pro Tour.
Thing, and it won the tournament. And only like 3 people played the deck, and one of them went all the way to the fucking top.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
So a lot of people are talking about whether or not this deck should be banned, because it's so frustrating to play. The whole point of the deck is basically you're not allowed to play Magic. You should quit the game now because you're not going to do anything.
Like, this feels worse than when I played Standard and it was just blue-white control was the top-tier deck, where it's like, nope, everything countered, everything destroyed, Sphinx's Revelation. Like, it was, as a new player, I fucking hated it, and I guarantee you, if I ever have to play against Lantern Control, I'm going to fucking hate it.
Speaking of which, Freeman, Saffron Olive did a video on Monday, and I watched the whole thing of him playing blue-white Miracles in Modern thanks to the Brainstorm creature, and it actually looks good. It actually looks solid.
People are like, yeah, if you lose the creature, it doesn't matter. Got Brainstorm. And it's like, it's so high value that it doesn't matter.
And now, dude, with that deck, and if Jace gets unbanned next week, dude, Miracles might just be a thing in Modern. That'd be
damn it. I was so happy to never have to play against that deck again, only for it to come in a format that I like more.
So anyway. So the Pro Tour happened. People are excited because it was good, but people are also arguing about Lantern. And next week, we'll probably talk about it. There's going to be a banned and restricted update. People are thinking maybe the Wizards will unban a card, probably Bloodbraid Elf because Jund is terrible.
Yeah. Aaron Forsyth did clarify that just because a deck wins a Pro Tour does not mean they should be looking to ban something.
Now, that doesn't mean they won't ban it at all. That doesn't mean we won't ban Lantern Control because it might just they might just be like, well, it's not because it won, but it brought to light the problem.
I don't think it's prominent enough. This is the first time it's ever like
done
shown
anything.
This kind of performance. Like, look, if Death Shadow won, I wouldn't expect them to be banning Death Shadow next week.
But Death Shadow isn't useless to play against. It doesn't make you feel like you can't play Magic, which is what they ban cards for.
But like, this is why the Modern isn't like usually a Pro Tour format, because with Standard, the one they want to actually show off all the time, they don't want it to look like this. If they have a Modern Pro Tour once a year, and your question going in is, can I beat Lantern Control every year? People are going to watch that regardless. No one goes in and goes, fuck it, I don't want to watch Lantern Control meme their way through another Pro Tour.
I mean, people don't want to watch Lantern Control. It's boring as fuck, dude. Dude, you have 3 turns to establish a lock or you just lose. But if you don't lose, they will be tired and quit.
Look, I'm not here to watch Lantern Control win. I'm here to watch other people kick the shit out of the Lantern Control player.
All right, let's do the one other quick bit of Magic news. This is much more minor. Tyler, you might even remember us talking about this. So a few months ago, before Ixalan came out, original Ixalan, Wizards said, oh, we're not doing Friday Night Magic promo cards anymore. We're going to do promo tokens, and those tokens are going to be foil, but they're just going to be the same artwork as normal, as is in the pack. They're also like
double-sided?
They're double-sided, and they're just a foil promo token. That's it. It's just a foil of the thing you could pull from your pack.
And there was some excitement because people were like, cool, I'm going to get nice, shiny token art for tokens that I use in every format of Magic. But then Wizards went and made these tokens like very, very set specific. It was just like treasure.
They are just standard legal tokens. There's no, like, Tyler, you remember that gorgeous angel token that I pulled out of Unstable? That is what people were hoping it was. Something interesting, an old token that could have cool new artwork in foil. That would get people excited. Instead, what they did was they took tokens from Ixalan, which was already out, put one on each side, foiled it, and didn't even make any new artwork.
That's lame.
None. And people were like, this sucks. So just, what was it, yesterday? Wizards was like, we've heard the community, and our data shows that people would rather us go back to Friday Night Magic promos. So once Dominaria comes out, we're going back to promos. And it's like,
oh my god.
And that's why Freeman's comment about Wizards backtracking. Wizard has been backtracking every major decision they make because the community throws a fit. And in this case, they're right to, because this was a terrible decision.
So here, hold on. I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one. They announce a controversial change. The community is very split. Half of them like, this is awful. The other half says, let's see what they do with it. Wizards' first batch is bad. They genuinely put out a bad batch of tokens that no one wanted. And this was enough evidence to say, this is too bad, we gotta go back. No, do what you did with Unstable. I would have been fine with tokens if they released like good tokens. But who the fuck is playing Treasure in any format?
But here's the counter to that, Freeman. Unstable as a product has almost guaranteed been done for years, or at least like this has to have not been a super. There's no way this just happened since that promo. You know what I mean? There's no way that the decision to make those pretty-ass tokens in Unstable was a brand new idea. So
no, pretty tokens as a concept has been an idea since what? Like it was when Shadows over Innistrad came out. That was when they just started with these like double-sided nice tokens.
Where they had those zombie tokens.
Yeah, so we could say like that was where they had pretty much decided this is the new premium shit.
Sure, but then why don't you do any new artwork? At all. Even the Unstable promos aren't new artwork, but there's at least something interesting with the full no border nothing side of the artwork.
F&M promos have always been new art, like
always. Yeah, that's a good point too. Every card that was a promo before this, every one of those actual cards was new artwork for that card. I don't think they've ever reused artwork.
No.
Yeah, that's kind of lame.
And then it's
they've later used the F&M promos for other things, but it was never just a reprint of the old artwork.
And so not only did you change from cards to tokens, but you also stopped doing new artwork. It just felt like such a waste on some. Damn. Freeman, I can understand.
Sounds like they're being lazy, maybe.
Don't get me wrong. I'm happy they're doing F&M promos. I'm just pissed that Wizards use this as enough example to say, we're going to do something that might not pay off. They fuck up the first time, shrug and say, oh, looks like the community was right the whole time, and fail to acknowledge what they did wrong.
Oh, but that's how come on them, but still. No, go ahead, Tyler.
I'll say, but why, if they know people were hype about this the whole time, why would they come out with that and then be surprised like, oh, maybe this isn't what they wanted?
Here's the thing. They announced this change. Freeman, did they announce this before they showed off the Kaladesh promos? Or after?
They had already showed off Kaladesh promos.
Okay, so that doesn't...
show the Ixalan once they announced it.
But they must have been in... So, Tyler, here's the thing. For a long time before the last few promos, people were constantly complaining about how bad the card choices they made. And legitimately, they had a really bad track record of picking the cards. Not forever, but for the last, 2 years before they switched, almost all their cards they picked were not playable cards in almost any format.
Yeah, it had to do a lot with the fact that the F&M promos are ever since 2008, 2009, I think all the promos have been uncommon cards, and usually they figure out what uncommons are going to be played in standard. The problem with around the time, which I think it was Theros Zendikar, was every deck was just rare and mythic decks. No one was playing uncommons, and the ones they picked weren't good in those formats of the only rares or only 4-color good stuff. So none of the pros we were getting were useful anywhere. It wasn't until go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, but then Kaladesh, my favorite set, comes out, and so they always do it a set later. Like when Kaladesh came out, they were doing the set before it, Eldritch Moon. They were doing their promos, and then when Aether Revolt came out, they did Kaladesh. So they they have a delay on the promos. When Aether Revolt did their promos, it was Aether Hub, which is one of the best lands printed in years. Fatal Push, which is a staple in every format now.
Yeah, one of the best removal cards ever printed.
Literally one of the best, like Freeman said, one of the best removal cards ever in the history of Magic. And what was the other one, Freeman? It wasn't
it wasn't a Braid.
Was it Servo Exhibition?
Something that didn't matter, but they were
something
2 for 3,
wasn't amazing.
Which is better than their previous track record.
Yeah, 2 for 3 was still, and those were really good cards to pick. Freeman, good. I gave you my Fatal Push promo.
Yeah, no, I ended up buying 3 more because of how good it is.
They're really pretty, and right after that, then they announced the token change. And everyone's like, dude, you just got it right.
You just fixed the issue.
You just fixed what was wrong. Why did you then change?
Because fuck you.
All right, we've talked about Magic enough.
I like how the news was going to go fast this week.
It was, but...
It always does this.
All right, let's rapid fire through the weeb shit.
Yes.
All right. So this week, I'm going to probably stop talking about Darling and the Franks after this episode because the meme's over. So Darling got in the Franks this week. If anyone didn't hear me last week, we were memeing about how the main character referred to as Darling was just unable to get in this robot, the Franks, aka the title of the show. But episode 4 comes out, as I always do to see if the episode's going to be hype or not. I see how many people commented on Reddit, but I don't read the discussion thread. And this episode got a shit ton of discussion going on in the first hour after it came out. Like, this is the kind of hype that I saw around Attack on Titan when they revealed that so-and-so and so-and-so were the Colossal and Armored Titan. But so I go into this episode expecting this to be the most mind-blowing episode of all time. Nah, there's just a straight-up waifu scene that everyone wouldn't stop talking about.
Yes.
But it was really good. I'm looking forward to where the show goes. But Darling's in the Franks. They're fighting, shit's exploding, music's playing. It's like Kill Kill with robots. I'm loving it.
Maybe tomorrow or something, I'll just sit down and finally watch the 4 episodes and just blat through it.
I still need to catch up on it.
Yeah, you guys got to catch up. I don't want to overhype it, though, because right now it feels like it's building up to something cooler, but it's not quite there yet.
It's okay. Val and I almost finished rewatching season 2 of My Hero, so then I can move on to watching other shit.
Oh my god.
Hey man, it was really good.
You just squeeze in another Made in Abyss rewatch before you pick something new?
Look, Val's been rewatching it every 5 minutes. There's nothing I haven't been. I have not rewatched Made in Abyss.
Like that 5-year-old watching
choice.
the same Shrek movie or Frozen.
Dude, you said no. Shrek is legitimately the movie my sister watched for a whole 6 months.
Oh
when she was a kid. I'm not even kidding. That Tyler, you're freaking me out, man.
Oh my god. Thankfully, my sister was Mulan. I had Disney classics.
The Disney classic, the
brother,
DreamWorks classic.
I don't know if it's worse
or better.
Mulan,
not Shrek.
I don't know if it's worse or better, but when my brother was young, there was a summer where him and our next door neighbor watched Phantom Menace every day.
Oh, ew.
Now this is pod racing.
That might be part of why I don't hate the movie as much, because I've just seen it so much.
It's working!
Oh my God, fucking keep
going. So one of my top 10 anime, Steins Gate, they announced that an anime adaptation for the sequel visual novel would be coming out this year. And then this huge countdown site that had these puzzles and shit on it, and it finally got solved. Countdown ended, and they announced that Steins Gate 0 will be coming out April of this year. I'm very excited. God. I own the visual novel for PS4. I need to play it because apparently it's really, really good. I can't remember if it was Eye Patch Wolf or if it was Glass Reflections who did a full video on why you need to play this. But I'm excited
it's probably
for it.
Glass because I don't remember Eye Patch doing that.
I don't remember. But yeah, so Steins Gate 0 is coming out in April. But now I'm getting real nervous because a fuck ton of anime is coming out this April. So the most recent ones announced are on this list, and I'm looking at this. Steins Gate 0, Hero Academia Season 3, Tokyo Ghoul Re, in case you hate yourself and want to watch a sequel to that show. The 4th season of Food Wars, which has officially been renamed Food Wars Season 3 Part 2. So I was right. Season 3 is 24 episodes.
God damn it.
You've got the Sword Art Online alternative Gun Gale Online spin-off coming out. For people who like titty anime, you got High School DxD Season 4.
So Luigi.
Continuing, Persona 5 the animation starts that same month. The 4th season of Full Metal Panic, which hasn't been on TV since 2007, is coming back. I'm beyond hyped. And then the last one, which is my transition into the next topic, is Legend of the Galactic Heroes. One of the this is the most pretentious anime ever, is getting a remake. And these are all coming out in the same season, on top of shit like the second Godzilla movie from the new trilogy, or Lupin the Third
Wait,
Part
that's
5
coming out in
also
April?
It's coming out in May, but it's coming out during the spring anime season.
Oh, okay.
So it's coming out during the second month of the 3-month season.
That's soon as fuck, though. I'm hype.
The last Digimon movie, the third Code Geass recap movie before Geass Season 3. Holy shit.
Wait. Do you mean last as in last ever, or last as in just latest?
So the last of the 6-part Digimon movies where they've been bringing back the original cast, that final part of the 6-part trilogy that's been airing for the last 3 years is coming out.
Oh my god. Have you been watching that?
Yes, I have been, because I loved Digimon as a kid.
Digimon.
The first 3 were super nostalgic, the last 2 were fucking
monsters.
terrible. Digimon are the champions. But I'm hoping the 6th movie is actually decent, because the last 2 have been pretty garbage.
So wait, did you
Honestly.
say in that whole thing Code Geass season 3?
So that was
What?
so.
What? I mean,
So-
we'll get there,
leave it for
but
the end.
We'll
Yeah,
get
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But
We'll
yes,
get
I said
there.
the third movie's coming out, which is the last movie that needs to come out before Geass 3 comes out. But we'll get to that a little bit later. So I mentioned that Legend of Galactic Heroes, aka the greatest anime ever made, which I haven't seen because it's long as fuck and it's really slow because this is like a 70s, early 80s space opera style show.
Hell yeah.
Point is, it's getting remade, so I'm definitely watching that because people won't shut up about how good the characters are. The problem is, it's what I like to call a talking head anime, where 99% of the shots are just faces talking. There's nothing happening. It's all about the dialogue. And, you know, it looks okay, but it's long and it's drawn out. So I'm curious to see how this remake's going to do. But more importantly, they got Yukihiro Sawano, who is famous for his hype, like, drop in the song sequences. He's doing the opening. If anyone has watched Attack on Titan, Kill la Kill, I'll Know a Zero, just look up Sawano drop on YouTube, and there's a playlist of every song he's composed where it's just like the verse ends, it gets silent, and then the singer just starts yelling, and the music comes in, it's just loud, hype, exciting. I'm excited for this remake just because of that.
Which Attack on Titan opening? The first one?
Not the opening, he did the soundtrack for it.
Oh.
So there's a lot of songs in the track where just like it'll stop, and then a character, like, you'll just hear the vocals just loud in your face, loud music. Yeah.
Netflix.
Moving on, Netflix. Oh man, it's like I talk about them every single week.
It is.
So I finished watching their first actually original anime, Devilman Crybaby, this weekend. I was a little annoyed at the ending, but the ending was taken directly out of the manga, so I can't be too mad at them. But this has got to be one of the weirdest shows I've watched.
Dude, I watched the first episode and I was like, what the fuck?
Yo, sex, drugs, alcohol, demons. Oh my god, it had everything. It had synthwave. It had everything.
That's all
But
Freeman needs.
This show was not for the faint of heart. It was a
No.
very odd show. I don't know if I'd rewatch it, but I definitely rate it high. Like, this was a unique experience.
Oh, so you finished it?
Yeah,
I
I
remember
saw
you were
it.
talking about
Yeah, I watched all 10.
watching it already.
Because we started rewatching with one of my friends who's around occasionally, but it's on Saturday. He was free early, so we started watching it, and we just like marathon the last 6 episodes. Because by episode 7 or 8, like, the mystery is getting super thick. I just didn't like how they played out the 10th episode.
Oh, there's only 10.
It's only 10 episodes, so it's really quick to get through. It's only 22, 23-minute episodes, and they skip the opening for you. So
is it a Netflix thing to make 10-episode seasons?
I don't know.
Because isn't anime always 13s?
It's 12 to 13, but the thing is, because Devilman is not a televised anime, it's classified as an original net animation, which the idea behind it is, if you do one that's just going to stream on a website, you're not bound to the 12 to 13 episode format.
So you don't have
pick
to do
how much
recaps and shit.
Yeah, you pick how much you want to do. And they agreed that 10 was the perfect amount to cover the story they wanted to do, so that way they didn't have to expend cost on animating more shit or slowing down the pacing.
That's fair.
I personally think they could have squeezed in maybe another half an episode, because the first episode is probably the most rushed. They just
yeah, dude.
They're blazing
that
fast.
first episode was like, what is happening?
Yeah, it's like it could have been a double episode. Like, honestly, it should have been an 11 episode show where the first was not quite as fast paced. They really should have.
I think they wanted to get you in the mood for the show, not having seen the rest. Does that make sense at all?
Kind of. Like, they wanted to show you why it was called Devilman by the end of the first episode.
That's
If you
true.
didn't know that,
true.
most Netflix watchers are fickle. Like, this is why Seven Deadly Sins did so well, because the first episode tells you everything you need to know about the show and shows you how busted OP the main character is in the last like 2 minutes.
Oh, hell
So
yeah.
this is like the Netflix formula for shows.
Dude, that's why One Punch probably does great on Netflix.
Actually, though, doesn't even take you the first 5 minutes to see how busted he is.
Whereas My Hero would never work on Netflix.
It takes 3 episodes before it finally gets there.
It does anything.
Yeah. So the other thing about Netflix, we all watched the trailer right before the
Solo trailer.
But they showed off the English trailer for their next original anime project, which we briefly mentioned a couple weeks ago, Be the Beginning. They put out the dub trailer. It's coming out March. The show itself is releasing March 2nd, so it's not too far off. But they've got some pretty good dub voices in there. I know they got the... Oh, wait.
No, keep going.
They got the voice actor who did Noctis in Final Fantasy 15 as the main character. They've got Johnny Young Bosch, one of my favorite voice actors. He's playing someone in there. But they showed very little in the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm intrigued to see how it's going to do. After seeing what they did with Devilman, I'm actually excited to see what Netflix does next.
Whoa.
Yeah, right?
Supporting Netflix a little? Damn.
Yeah. I'm still pissed about Violet Evergarden, but whatever.
All I was gonna say was I was gonna agree with you that the dub actually, like, the main character actually sounded pretty, like, into it for the narration he did. So
His voice actor is actually pretty good.
He
cares a lot about the characters he does.
All right, Freeman, go ahead. Fulfill the desire of the comment.
Upon special request, we're going to discuss Code Geass very briefly. So, Tyler, you wanted to ask about Geass Season 3 real quick?
Yeah, what's the... I didn't hear some shit about this. What are you talking about?
So, Code Geass finished airing in, what, like 2007, 8?
A while ago,
A long
ago.
time ago in a land in Japan far away.
Back in high school.
Yo, it came on Toonami my senior year of high school, and I was like beyond hyped to try and watch it until they moved it to the graveyard slot at 3 a.m.
Oof.
I still woke up to watch it. I don't recommend that. The point is, Code Geass ended on a very conclusive note at the end of its 52-episode run, 2 seasons of 26. And very recently, for the 10th anniversary, they were going to do a re-release of like these compilation films where they tune up some of the animation. They were going to revoice it with the original cast. But at this event, they announced Code Geass Season 3 was happening. And no one could believe it until a couple of months ago. This trailer surfaced at some like low-key like convention event. And it was a legitimate trailer for Season 3. This is footage no one's seen before. And it implies... Oh my god. I can't even spell it. It implies that characters that very clearly died in Season 2 aren't dead. So we don't know what it means. Is it a retcon? Is it a continuation? Because we've seen characters in the show who've obtained immortality. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to spoil this, because the real reason I'm bringing up Code Geass is because I'm going to tell you why you should watch Code Geass. This is Super Eye Patch Wolf telling you this.
Why you should
That was an awful impression.
Code
Geass.
Tyler, have you watched any of his videos?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god, he always opens it that way. He always he like starts talking about it, and then he naturally works in. So this is why I'm gonna tell you why you should watch Code Geass.
Like
he gets super whispery.
I love his videos, but he's
really
so
funny.
slow and dramatic on the build-up.
He always does it every fucking time.
Oh god!
It's like, dude, calm down. Or I should say, calm up.
Code Geass, the first time I watched it, I really liked it. The second time I watched it, I fucking loved it. This is one of the shows that gets better with each rewatch because there's so much shit going on. I don't know if I should go too deep into the plot synopsis, but long story short, England takes over Europe, takes over whatever, they start taking over the world, and then they go and they invade Japan. And part of their military might is they've got these robots that essentially are on roller skates.
They got giant fucking robots. They got fucking awesome.
More importantly, they got giant robots that are like blowing up tanks. And they start like colonizing the world. They colonize Japan. They strip everyone of their identity. They're not even like classified as citizens. They're known as Area 11, and their people are just referred to as 11s.
This is the show you tried to get me to watch, and we watched one episode. It's like the Death Note. Gundam
Yes.
thing.
So I compare it to Death Note a lot because in the first episode, you meet the main character Lelouch, who you'll find out within the first 10 minutes, he's the exiled prince of this nation, Britannia, and he's kind of living in exile in Japan right now. And in the first episode, these Japanese terrorists are trying to, stick it to the man, take back their country. And Lelouch gets caught up in this like giant truck crash, and he finds what's supposed to be this super weapon, except it's this girl who's just unconscious, and she grants him this ability called Geass, where he can command anyone to do one thing he commands. And he ends the first episode by just ordering all these soldiers who are pointing guns at him to just kill themselves. So they do. Yep. And this is where it kind of ties into the whole Death Note connection, where it's this character suddenly gets this power that he could potentially use to take over the world. What's he going to do with it? And this is the story of how he kind of leads this rebellion in Japan, which is why the show is called Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion, and how he's fighting back to take over his country, and he's using his power. It's overall an amazing show. I gave the second season a 10 out of 10 because of what it did.
Yeah, it did a lot of stuff right. It was just fucking cool, man. Like I know the story was supposed to be deep, right, and have all this allegorical shit, especially at the end, Freeman. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. But I'm like, I put all that aside, and I was like, yo, this is just a cool ass show. This is just cool.
I just loved it because there's characters playing like 4-dimensional chess with each other, layer upon layer of shit going on in the background. Just the politics of it was good. The first season gets a lot of flack because it's this robot battle show that by night, but by day it's like a high school slice of life comedy, which is kind of annoying. Like I remember my friends and I were joking, like, "Oh man, the Prime Minister of China is sending a nuke to Japan, but promise tomorrow." And that's kind of what the first season feels like till it starts getting heavier and they start dropping the whole like school plot lines for more of like the conflict.
You know what I think is interesting though? Sorry, keep going though.
I was gonna say the one thing that's probably the most off-putting is the show was designed by this group called Clamp, who's famous for their really like long arms and legs character designs. These people literally look like noodles.
Yeah, they look a little weird.
Yeah, they do, but most of the Clamp shows are like that. But what were you gonna say, Tyler?
Fucking noodles. No, I was thinking like Lelouch's character is interesting. I can't go into too much details for spoiler.
Yeah,
but I just think his character is interesting. Like everybody thinks he's this thing when really he's just an asshole. He's just a dick.
He's like the biggest deceiver.
Yep.
He is.
He's playing literally everyone.
And everybody thinks he's this great guy. Ooh, look at me. I'm Lelouch de Britannia.
Oh my god.
I'm the coolest. Still good. I would recommend.
It's also got a really good dub if you're into that.
I did watch it dubbed.
I did too. I've seen it in both, but the dub holds up really well. Like all the big name voice actors are in here.
Yeah.
And that's why you should watch Code Geass.
Oh, shut up.
And that's it for the week shit.
Apparently someone edited together a guy cosplaying as Geralt of Rivia fighting off against Chuck Norris footage.
Oh, good lord.
By the way, just throwing that out there that I just saw this headline. First thing Google said I should watch.
Yeah, because you're whacking off to The Witcher all the time.
Hey, man. No.
Hey, man.
No, it's not my fault that editing The Witcher, I have to edit out lots of nudity, dude. Val's like, Tim, if I didn't know you were playing The Witcher, I would be concerned about all this shit on your screen right now, but I know you're just editing, so it's fine. Fucking bullshit. I had to edit. Oh my god.
Fucking bullshit.
There's a sequence. No.
There's just Witcher porn on your screen at all times.
No. Yeah, she knows. No, before we go to break, no joke. There is a fucking 2-minute sequence in a video that's going to come out probably later this week or something, where Ciri is rescued on an island and she's in the frozen water and she finally wakes up and the mom and the daughter are like, or the daughter is like, come to the sauna. We need to warm you up because you almost died of hypothermia. And you go, and fucking she has a 2-minute conversation in the sauna with the wrinkly old mother and the daughter, and they're both topless, and they constantly change the camera angles and cut to different people. And it took me like an hour to blur it all out. Oh my fucking god, it was so annoying.
You should just blacked out the screen for that segment.
Here's the thing. At one point, I actually did that. There was a scene where Geralt and Yennefer have an intimate 10 seconds, and I actually blurred out the entire screen except for the subtitles so people could read them. I regret that. I had to delete the footage because I ran out of hard drive space. I immediately regretted that I did it that way because I feel like I was lazy. And I feel like people didn't get to see the facial expressions. You know what I mean? Like, because there's other stuff going on. Like, there's them talking, and you can see the expressions on their face, and they're really well animated in this game, and the eyes look really cool in this game.
Oh, for the science. Gotcha.
Oh, my God. No, but seriously, no, forget it. Fuck it. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to talk about expansions in video games. Is that going to be our topic, or do we want to just talk about bullshit or something?
I don't know. Do you guys want to talk about expansions? I didn't prepare a list of anything to talk about this week.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I'm pretty shit at this.
All right, we'll figure it out on the break. I got to get some water and see if Val came back. So we'll be back in a minute. We'll either talk about a topic or talk about dumb bullshit, both of which are good options on the TNT podcast.
Yeah, always viable, always.
All right, we'll be back in a sec. And we're back. and I immediately derailed everyone in the in the discussion about the topic.
During the break.
During the break, I looked at my shelf to my left, and I saw, oh, my girlfriend's pop figures. And then I thought, why don't we have a discussion about, I guess you could call it physical media? Now that so much of our media is digital, you don't have to buy a Blu-ray anymore. What does physical media mean, and why are pop figures so popular when they're so ugly?
Yo, god damn, but you're right.
Yo, starting off strong with this one.
He's not wrong.
He's not
they are
wrong.
the ugliest fucking things I've ever
That's the
seen.
complete opposite of wrong, and that he's very correct.
They're not total. I can understand why people like them, but it's so fucking boring. Like, really?
You know what? I won't lie though. Was it so Leslie's old coworker though made these really quality ones? I think those are cool, but it's like you won't
How'd they
get
make
this...
them?
They get blanks,
They
and then
sell
they just
blanks.
yeah, they sell blanks.
You just like paint your own.
Yeah.
What's the point when they already make one for every billionth thing because it costs them 3 pennies to make one and they sell them for $1 billion?
Personalization.
Yeah, because they look like shit, and they know they look like shit. So they're like, "Here, make one that
Here, you
we
can
know
make
you'll
one
be
just
better."
as shitty,
Yeah,
but your name can be on it.
but your name can be on it. But
Or
like,
make your own custom one of you.
Now, here's a question: do the blanks cost more than buying one that's already been designed?
I feel like they don't.
Let's find out.
So in the realistic world, I feel like they shouldn't, but I also could totally see Pop being like, "Hey, but you want to make your own?" That's
Okay, how much does a regular one cost?
About like in the realm
10,
of
15?
yeah. 10
Okay,
to
Amazon has
12.
blanks for $8.50.
Okay, so they are a smidge cheaper. Okay, that's fair.
Cheaper if you go from private sales, even as low as like $4.
But that's not primable, is it?
Probably not.
Usually,
But that's
usually
good
it's
though,
not.
because people who make the blanks, like they could sell,
Of
right? Like a
course.
custom one for like, oh, I'll give you this. It's custom, hand painted, $20.
Remember the world when people were like, "This is like Beanie Babies. I'll collect every Funko Pop figure," and now there's like 10 billion of the fucking things. Who are these Do you think there's anyone in the world who's still maintained the collection? There has to be a few, right?
It's impossible.
You mean the complete collection? You can't actually do it.
Can't.
Why?
You don't. You would need a warehouse almost.
So what?
So no. It's not even the warehouse. It's how many ones they make. They're like exclusive to certain events.
Dude, someone's
Yeah.
gonna sell it on eBay, and someone's gonna put $10,000 on that bidding war to get the full collection.
So you're telling me
I had one friend. He went to Atlantic City Comic Con alone, just because he wanted to buy the exclusive. He didn't give two shits about what was going on. He went
There's one
he
at
got his
Comic-Con
shit.
every year.
Yeah, there's
that-
exclusive ones at Comic-Con every year, which is fucking nuts. Like, I can't even fathom people collecting all these things. They have walls.
I bet
Dude.
you, here's what they do. They definitely, maybe it's not a group. You gotta imagine someone out there offers to pay someone who's going to Comic-Con and will say, "Here, if you get into the raffle, here's the money plus a 20% finder's fee. Buy me this Funko." They have to. There's no other way it works.
Dude, no one's caught them all yet.
I don't
feel
believe
like-
I don't believe anyone has.
No
No
one
one
is-
spends.
A Pop came on master yet.
But, like, you've seen the videos of people who have, like, Star Wars collections and shit like that, and some of those are a lot more expensive. Like, I feel like even a collectible Funko, if you stay on top of them, is never going to be as expensive as, like, there's no Funko Pop that's 20 years old, like a Star Wars toy that there's, like, 10 of in existence. You know what I mean? And there's people who are so psychotic about it that they'll buy every Star Wars toy ever.
I mean, that's more believable than every Funko Pop figure ever.
But why? You just, like, 95% of them you just spend $10 on.
Tim, I don't think you understand. Do you understand how many there are?
Do you understand how many rich people who just want to collect some dumb bullshit there are?
Yeah,
Dude, they
but
released like 100 new ones like at the second half of 2017.
Sure,
There's like
That's $1,500 just on pieces of shitty fucking plastic in a box that you're never gonna open.
Freeman, if we could do that with Magic, if I could buy one of every card from a set and have them mounted on my wall around a room, I would do it. Like you would do it.
I would, but I'm not spending $300 a month on storage facilities to store my Magic cards.
You would need a storage facility to accommodate that many.
Like it's actually not feasible.
I feel like there's too many people who have enough money and no other way that they want to spend it in the world. Like there's always everyone thinks that someone won't do something, and then you find the crazy person, and it exists. I feel like someone, if they don't have them all, has at least 90%. There has to be.
Oh, there's the one guy, but this is not like a regular occurrence.
I'm not saying it's regular. There's never regular, but there's always the one guy that some shitty local news network hears about and makes a documentary, and then it goes on the internet and everyone's like, what a fucking weirdo. It always happens.
As they fucking jerk off to their My Little Pony fucking shit.
Oh my god.
Tyler, why are you gonna take it there?
Because that's the other thing that triggers me. Dude, I remember, I don't know, this is going, I mean, no, it's still on topic, right? People are still buying, like, the bronies. My beef is with the bronies.
Bro, friendship is magic.
Fuck you.
Oh my god.
Fuck
Podcast
you,
canceled.
Freeman. The podcast is canceled.
No,
I'm leaving.
I've never watched Don't Worry, I'm Not a Brony.
I don't give a shit. That joke was in poor taste.
Wait, did you say...
I am not a brony. I have never watched a single episode of the new My Little Pony.
Okay, Freeman, I thought you were legitimately saying, don't worry, I've never watched something called I'm Not a Brony. The way you no, I get what you're saying, but the way you phrased it and said it that way, I legitimately thought there was like a documentary called Don't Worry, I'm Not a Brony.
There's a documentary. There is a documentary about bronies though, and I watched it.
It's time to stop.
Because me and my roommate, like for a month, we were trying to understand because like we felt like assholes.
You'll never understand.
Felt like assholes that we were making fun of these people.
This guy, remember, I had this group of guys that I hung out with from New York years ago, all on Skype, never in person. And one of them was totally a fucking brony and would get really pissed off and people made fun of him. Like, I don't understand. He was also the kind of guy who raged at League when I beat him in one-on-ones all the time. It was hysterical.
Damn, he would hate me. I would tell him to just go and fucking clop or some shit like that.
Oh my, wait, what?
You don't know.
Are you aware?
I don't know. No, please don't.
No, you're not going down this rabbit hole.
Don't. I'm not gonna search. I'm not gonna.
No, right, we should educate the listeners.
No, shut up.
Listeners, because we don't want you Googling this.
You just said, Tim, don't do it, and now you're turning a 180 right now and saying, oh, but we're going to
I just want to educate you.
I don't want to be educated. I'd rather be...
All right, fine. Viewers, do not Google clopping, and you know what that means.
No, look, some of them will. But
you know what actually that means.
No, look.
Please no.
I can guess, but I don't know, and I'm sure some of the viewers will, but that's on them, not on me. I am totally not going to.
Sign that disclaimer at the bottom of the video description, please. It is not our fault. We are not liable for anything.
I'm going to just put on a big thing on the screen, like one of those super fast scrolling things on a commercial where like the thing that kills you is like, oh.
Yes.
We're not legally responsible for damages due to clopping.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Freeman. No.
But yeah, no, it's crazy though. These guys though, and I see them, right? Like when I did security, they buy and have all this shit, like just all this My Little Pony stuff. Like they're all decked out in it. And I'm like, how do you have the money? What job do you have that lets you do this?
Oh, there's always... Everybody does it. I mean, everybody has a thing they collect. Anyone who earns, like, even 5% more than they need to survive. I spend money on Magic cards.
For some of us, it's cardboard. For others, it's animals.
For others, it's life-sized animals.
But when you're a 30-year-old man...
Tyler, look, as time goes on and dating becomes harder and harder, people are going to resort... There's a reason sex robots are becoming a business. Tyler,
that's not...
You know that in a few years there's going to be a My Little Pony sex robot.
Why'd you have to bring it there?
I had
though?
to
No.
because it's totally true.
I don't care
can't
if
be
I have to bring in clopping. You didn't have to bring in My Little.
Man, talk about physical collectibles.
I am dying on the inside. Actually, I'm
The ultimate
dying.
collectible.
No. This is no. That's where media has gone too far now. No. At first, I'm like, you know what? Sex robots are sex robots, man. Whatever. No. This is evil. This is why we don't deserve the internet. This is the devil. The devil.
The way of the devil.
The way of the devil. Bring that meme back before it dies.
Before we make it chew on those Tide Pods.
Oh God.
My God.
But yeah, no collectibles though.
Oh God. Wow.
I think the collectibles say a lot about a person. At least I mean, like I collect comics.
Is that a
Right, like-
collectible?
I would say so. The way they're structured, I believe so.
But isn't that more media than a collectible? Like a collectible in my mind is something that you just have either as an like. I'd say that the version of Name of the Wind that Val and I got you Val and I got you,
yeah. No,
that's a collectible.
No,
But
that's an heirloom now, Tim.
Okay, well, regardless, that's a super collectible. But
yes,
isn't a comic book that you don't read and don't really have any, you don't buy another, like, it's not like, I'd say the comic is a collectible if you read it on your tablet or something and then bought the physical one to never read but to just hold.
yeah,
I feel
there
like
are
a collectible
variants.
is something you don't really get use out of, you just look at.
Yeah, there are variant, like the variant covers. People will collect like the variant covers.
Oh my God.
Sure,
Yeah, those are
that's
collectibles.
a collectible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to argue that media can be a collectible. For the longest time, I was collecting anime DVDs in the age of streaming. And
That's what I mean, though. That's something where it's not your primary intake. You still, if Freeman, let's be honest, if you want to watch one of those animes, you're more likely, especially if you're not home, to just go on Netflix or something and watch it.
yeah, 100%.
I want to buy a copy of Redline. That doesn't mean I'm going to watch that DVD or Blu-ray, hopefully. Anytime I want to watch Redline, I'd probably still stream it. But you want to have it because it's that physical connection, but it's not your primary ingesting. Like, Tyler, if you bought a comic that you already had as a variant cover, that's the collectible, in my mind.
I mean, like, yeah, I could see that, and like, but I guess I always think about it like that's what I am collecting, like I am holding on to it. Like that's how I view it, as like collecting.
That's fair. The only reason I don't like that as much, because I feel like something that's a collectible, you go
retain
out of
like
your way
a
to
value
take
to it, right?
kind
like
of, but it's also something you try to take more
value.
care of. Like, I have collected all those Star Wars books I bought, but I didn't buy I didn't buy any more Star Wars books after I got my Kindle, because I just started reading them on Kindle. So I wasn't going out of my way to collect the paperbacks. So I still have multiple bookshelves in our dining room of Star Wars books, and I have collected those books by virtue of owning them on there. And there are some that I've rebought on my Kindle, but they're still not collectibles to me, mostly because they're in shit shape because I read them 1,000 times. But do you see what I mean, though? Because I've used the medium, I don't like Magic cards are the closest, but I double sleeve my valuable cards so that they're not in any danger. So that's, I don't know.
No, I feel you.
I'm rambling at this point.
Collecting or the stash is in the eye of the beholder. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with this.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I know how you feel with Battle Royale. So I read Battle Royale like online twice.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the manga.
I haven't read the manga. I've seen the original live action movie though.
Yo, do you want to borrow my collection?
Oh my God.
I own it all physically.
I think that's insane.
Yeah, no, I had to buy it because I'm like, I read, so talk about a yearly read. I read it once a year.
Wow.
Yes. It's my Resident Evil 4 of like comics, pretty much.
Well, okay, let's not get carried away.
I feel awful. My yearly read is just Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim.
Damn,
But yeah,
really?
no. This this is really good. Like Battle Royale is like really good, and I have all the Ultimate Editions. So like,
damn.
So except for the last one, there are 5 Ultimate Editions, right? Which are basically like they what are they called, Freeman, when they're not the chapters, but like the collection of chapters.
Like Tankobon or something. It's like the omnibus or something, whatever they call them.
Yeah, the Tankobon.
Or the omnibus equivalent, because I know what an omnibus is at least.
Yeah. It's just like it's multiple collections together.
Yeah. And so like I have 5 omnibuses pretty much.
So why don't you have the last one?
I don't have the last one because it is like last time I checked, it was like $120 for the 5th one, for the very ending of it. Don't know why. I think because they stopped printing it and that's it. Like they only printed like a limited amount of them. But like each one, because Leslie was gonna buy it for me for like my birthday, and I told her, I was like, listen, you're gonna be disappointed. And she's like, it should be, it's expensive. I'm like, yeah, it's expensive. But I went and I got the last 3 Tankobons though, right? Because they were literally $4 each.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I'm glad I got the other 4 though, because they in each of them they added an extra chapter. Like a chapter like no one has seen before.
Oh wow.
In any of them. I was like, oh, this is amazing.
So here's the question. Did you own those before you bought the Ultimate Editions?
No.
Oh wow, so you just straight up bought those?
Yeah, I read it twice online.
Okay, so then in that case I'd still classify what you did as a collectible thing. Because even though you read it, it was not, you get what, like that, I'm not,
exactly.
I'm not trying to cross-pollinate, but I am, like, to clarify my point from before, that is another case where I'd classify it as you collected that thing because you had read it, loved it, and wanted to support it and collect the cool thing more.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hell, I bought, there was the 25th anniversary of the release of the first Star Wars novel, the first book in the Thrawn trilogy. They came up with this cool silver hardcover version. Bought one immediately, and that's I read it, but it was still a collectible for me. Freeman, what's some of the anime you rebought?
I mean, a lot of it has to do with just like Blu-ray re-releases, because I owned almost everything I've loved on DVD, but then once the Blu-ray comes out, I'm like, I can still watch this on stream. This is more for like physical copy. I'm like, I gotta get the Blu-ray. I haven't done that with Gurren yet, but I did it with like
Isn't that Gurren box expensive?
It is. That's why I don't.
I feel like we
Aniplex of America. So Aniplex of America treats anime in America like they do in Japan, where physical media is like literally only for collectors. Like they will sell you a Blu-ray that has only 3 episodes of a 26-episode show, and they'll try to charge you $80 for that.
Jesus Christ!
Is it just me, or is Japan half the reason that fucking collector stuff exists?
Yo, actually though,
like
because people are willing to pay an absorbent amount of money for just like limited edition shit.
It's crazy though. Like I've seen videos from like YouTubers who go to Japan for a vacation, and they're like, "Oh yeah, just walk into a store full of statues you've just never seen before that are crazy."
Yep.
Jeez.
It's like, fuck. God, I wish I could.
Ridiculous.
See, this is why I'm like, maybe it's a good thing I don't have a lot of money, because I would just blow it all on shit like this.
Like, streaming is the only thing that's stopping me from spending a fuck ton of money on these, like, collectible DVDs. But, like, when they released, like, Kill la Kill, you could only buy them in, like, 3-episode DVDs at $60 each. So
Dude,
it was $240 for the whole show.
It pisses me off to no end that Hellsing Ultimate is only available on across 3 Blu-rays.
Yeah, right? It's them, like, baiting you by making the only product the collector's product.
There is no collector
3
for Hellsing.
Blu-rays?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying the only product is the air quotes collector's product.
Jesus.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
like,
but that's not even a collector's product. I'm just saying
I understand it's
Okay.
not, but I'm saying they're pricing it because even owning the only way to watch this show, they view it in their eyes as this is a collector's product.
Oh, I get you. I got you.
You know, there's nothing collectors about it. Just its pure existence. They treat it like it is,
Right.
and that's what's annoying.
Like, is it so hard to think Like, hell, the reason I jumped all over that fucking Gundam Wing collection is because the only collections up till now that were decent were fucking pirate ones where people ripped the DVDs and threw their own shitty DVD together and sold it.
I mean, for those particular shows, yeah, but like if you go, like whenever Funimation sells a new show, the first round of release is always in this like really nice like cardboard box that usually fit part 1 and part 2 whenever it comes out. And those are really nice. I'll always spring for those. But then after the initial release, they'll always have like $10 off like the regular version. And they never make that the first one ever again. It's usually you have to pre-order, but there's no like, it's not really limited edition. It's more like limited time to order it. And in my eyes, that's my favorite kind of collector's edition because it's like you were there since day one. You get something special. You didn't pay something exorbitant. It's not ridiculous. And that's kind of what it was with you and I both went different routes with Gundam Wing. You got the collector's edition. I got the standard one. The price, it wasn't insanely different, but it wasn't like they locked people out of buying the regular product. Yours was definitely the collector's edition. Oh, yeah. And it certainly looks like it.
Yeah, that would definitely look nice too, for real.
Honestly, though, it's disappointing. There's not a ton there. It does kind of suck. Okay, hold on. I just checked on Amazon. Hellsing Ultimate Blu-ray, 1 to 4, $30. 5 to 8, $17. 9 and 10, $24.
Wow.
Fuck you. They couldn't even
which
make
company?
2. I don't know. Whatever is on Amazon. It's just the primable thing that came up right away. Multi-format Blu-ray DVD combo. It's just the thing that shows up for Hellsing Ultimate.
The hell? Who the fuck released this? I thought this was Funimation. There's no way they'd do this.
Well.
Actually, you know what? I think I know why they did this.
Okay.
Enlighten us, oh weeaboo.
Hellsing Ultimate released over the course of 6 years.
Yeah, so fucking what? It's all been out for years now. Do some
Well, they haven't just re-released the complete edition yet.
That's what I want.
Nah, fuck that. If they could release a whole complete edition of Samurai Jack.
Oh, have they not?
Get the fuck out of here.
Have they not?
They did.
Oh shit! What the fuck?
Yeah, like months ago, like after the show was done.
That's fucking yep. There's the complete series box set for It's the 4th thing when you search for Samurai Jack.
Yep.
And it's fucking $80. And how many seasons is that? 4?
Yeah, I think that's kind of horseshit in my opinion.
Holy shit! Apparently
So I think,
wait, what the? Sorry, Freeman. Before you say anything, according to Amazon, Samurai Jack Complete and Blade Runner 2049 have frequently bought together.
What the hell?
What?
Sorry, that's just random. There must be only 2 people who've ever bought Samurai Jack Blu-ray with something else, and one of them happened to have Blade Runner in their fucking thing. Keep going though, Freeman. I'm sorry.
So Hellsing's an interesting scenario because it's an OVA in Japan. Each of the episodes are sold individually at maximum price. So because of that, it's probably a restriction on Funimation where we will not let you sell the whole thing for $60 because people will just reverse import it. So they probably have this restriction that you cannot sell them for more than X number of dollars per episode.
I don't want to wait as long as Gundam Wing to get a full thing.
So that's the unfortunate part for Hellsing Ultimate, just because of the nature of its release.
Oh my god.
Tim's dead.
I'm fucking
Tim's
dude.
I give up.
I would totally buy. That's one of the shows where I would just buy the box set. Look, Val has just given up on Gundam Wing. She's just not interested. I'll try to finish watching the Blu-ray just for myself, but I love the thought of having that box sitting on my shelf forever. But, I'm not going to buy... it's why I never really got into comics. I don't want to buy the issue. I'll wait for the trade, and then when I'm like, oh, omnibuses exist, well, then I'll wait an extra year for the omnibus. Because I don't want to have 50,000 little issues. That's why when Val went from trades to issues of comics for a while, I was like, fucking stop! The variant cover is not worth reading this for 10 minutes, and you don't have the money for this. Save up for the fucking trade. She's like, no, I gotta read Rat Queens.
Oh my god. I mean,
but new Rat Queens sucked. Tell her to get out of here.
Oh my fucking god. Trigun doesn't have a Blu-ray. Forgot about that. That blows chunks.
Oh, but it's dirt cheap for the DVD.
I don't care. I want to... I'm
for
never
what?
buying.
Are we going through this again, Tim?
Anyway,
it doesn't matter. 4:3 aspect ratio.
Look, no. Here's the simple truth. I want one format.
Yeah, 480p. That's all.
It sure is. You're not wrong. But I
don't give a shit.
Freeman,
Yeah,
hold on. Freeman, Cowboy Bebop Blu-ray was $5 more than the DVD was for the exact same thing. The box is the same.
Tim, I'm going to change the topic.
Jesus.
No, this is still on the topic because we got back to DVDs from comics. So this isn't as much of an issue with comics, and I'm noticing that like physical media is going to gradually become less of a collector's item, especially regarding like TV shows and stuff. The biggest thing, like I read an article today about how much stuff is coming off of Netflix this month. Stuff doesn't stay on streaming platforms for forever.
Not
we
anymore.
saw that with like Fullmetal Alchemist. It started just disappearing from performance because none of these shows are licensed forever. They're licensed for like X amount of time, usually just like 10 years or so. But 10 years creeps up faster than you'll think. And before you know it, these shows that you loved aren't going to be out there streaming anymore because they're in some kind of license war. But if you own, even if it's not the collector's edition, you owning that physical media, you own it for life.
See, that's why I want to have, why I don't want to just buy a DVD. I know DVDs and Blu-rays are never going to have this split where only one works, but I like the uniformity, you know what I mean, of having one, like just seeing those blue boxes everywhere and knowing that if I can play one Blu-ray, I can play all my Blu-rays.
I just accepted that I'm going to keep buying PlayStation 4s until the end of time.
PlayStation 4s, yo, the magical.
Hey man,
Region
Xbox
3.
One also plays it. Remember how?
Yeah.
Okay, this is
Yeah,
totally off topic. Remember when PlayStation 2 was like the greatest DVD player ever?
Yo, it single-handedly caused
PlayStation
DVDs
3
to explode.
Was the best DVD player.
You mean the best Blu-ray player?
Well, actually, no.
Blu-ray.
PS3 had DVD upscaling on it,
Did it
built
really?
in.
It was region. Was it?
Yeah, it wasn't
Region
region
unlocked. Yeah, it wasn't
PS3 had a
region
lot of
unlocked.
stuff before they scaled it back, and Freeman was one of the lucky ones to have the PS2
The
emulation.
backwards.
Oh, mine died.
Yo,
mine
mine died too. I got it
Yeah.
working long enough to copy my saves and then convince GameStop it worked, so I could sell it back to them. Because
Good.
they were giving like an extra $100 because that unit was so rare at that point that I ended up trading up to a brand new PS3 and paying maybe only like $50 in between.
Damn,
Dude,
stay
good.
free.
Anything to
Yo,
fuck
playing
GameSpot.
the
Yeah,
over.
fuck GameStop.
Actually, though, fuck
Those
'em.
motherfuckers.
Not GameSpot. GameStop.
GameStop, the pieces of shit. You work your workers too much.
Well, also,
That's all I gotta say about
also,
that.
they want to like. I mean, we talked about that story about the retailers backing out of Xbox and everything a little while ago. Remember?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like the
Yes.
whole reason that happens is because GameStop encourages people to buy the game at full price, return it, and then
Yeah.
sell the used copy for $5 less, where none of that money goes to the publisher and developer.
Nope.
Like, who's supposed to feel bad in that scenario? But going back to the topic, now GameStop, you go into a GameStop and they have a Funko Pop stand.
They got Funko Pops. They got all this. They peddle
All
a lot more
accessories.
shit. Literally,
Every
quote
accessory.
unquote collectibles. Half the store
T-shirts.
are these fucking collectibles, T-shirts.
Dude, they're like the hot
Funko
topic
Pop.
of just video games right
Oh
now.
my god! You know what?
Dude,
I miss the
oh my
day.
God.
I miss the days of "Are you ready for this name?" I don't know how young our viewers are,
Oh.
but depends how young they are. Funkoland.
Oh boy.
I miss the
Oh,
Oh
days.
man. My
of
former local
Funkoland.
GameStop was a Funkoland, and that was glorious.
Where was
Yeah.
that, Freeman?
On Route 17, like right across from the Home Depot. There was
it
it was in that lot with like Supercuts and like
I don't think I ever got to
the
go over
fucking
there.
that glasses store. Point is, I used to go there for haircuts, and then I would go right next door and be like, "Yeah, I'm going to Funkoland." Then it was GameStop for the longest time. Then it closed down. Now they have one at Paramus Park.
Do you remember that
the only
GameStop
one.
closer to us on 17? It was like right after that overpass in that office.
I know the one
building.
you're talking about. Yeah, it was
Dude.
owned by the same group.
That was the only time I've ever turned in games at a GameStop. I stole my brother's game and 3 of my own to turn them in and get $20 towards $40. The Clone Wars, Star Wars Clone Wars.
Yeah, nothing's ever more depressing than bringing 20 games in and they hit you with $3.
Right.
Dude, fuck. Oh my god, I could literally stand here and in 5 minutes later you're gonna walk out with my box and a $20 sticker on it. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck them.
Oh my god.
But since we're on the topic of games, it's something I wanted to bring up.
Yes.
In the age of digital downloads,
Um,
especially for PC games, less and less people care about the physical copies of their games Like I remember one of my buddies, he insists on buying the physical copy of every game he's ever owned. But then starting last year, he's like, I'm thinking about just throwing these out. I have the code saved in case I need to download them again. Like,
or yeah, you know what's worse? When you buy a fucking game and on PC, and now you just put the disc in, and it's like, oh, it's now redeemed on Steam.
oh yeah, I forget which game was. I put it in, and it's literally just the exe for the downloader.
Oh my god, that
right.
The first time that ever happened to me, I remember, was the game Rage, the one that id Software made.
Ew. Yeah, continue.
That was the first time I ever put the disc in, and it was like, would you like to install Steam? I was like, what?
Jesus.
Logged into Steam. Oh, we have redeemed your copy of Rage. Feel free to start downloading. And it's like, get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
Could you have sold me a more useless physical box?
Oh, I remember one of those recent ones. The last time I bought a physical PC game was Overwatch, and it's literally just had a slip of paper that says, here's your product key, enter it on Battle.net and download the game.
Wow, get wrecked.
But it was cheaper to buy it, the physical copy through Amazon than it was to get the code through Blizzard. So that's the only reason I did it. But like,
sure.
That shit was pointless. Like, that's why physical copies of PC games are just like, I don't go near them anymore.
Well, that's why it's all a collectible market now. That's why you only buy a physical game when you want the sick box, because otherwise it's just a Steam. It's just an like, especially this is really minor.
Like an empty plastic box.
But am I crazy? At least with Xbox, I think they did. But am I crazy, or are the cases, like the DVD size cases, even flimsier and plastikery now? Plasticier.
You don't get quality.
They're using less plastic to be environmentally conscious, but it loses all of its like, what's the term I'm looking for? Rigidness. Yeah, it's so flexible. You could bend these things.
Hell, like I told you guys that the 2 copies of Modern Warfare Remastered that I got were both broken in different places because the plastic is such shit.
Yo, speaking of collecting in boxes though, and physical copies, you know what I miss?
What?
Can you guess from the physical copies?
Physical copies.
Yeah. The youngins might not know this.
The manuals?
Either.
Is that what you're gonna say?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh man!
Manuals.
When you're in the back seat of the car with a
when you're in the back seat of the car
and you
coming
can't
home,
play it yet, so you just pop open that case, you read the manual, you start reading the bios on all the main characters.
Yeah, you get hit with that brand new game smell.
Yep. You
that
open
plastic,
it up.
and you take out that manual in the back seat of the car. Oh man!
The coolest ones today. The coolest ones were the ones that came with a manual of like the controls and stuff, and then the fluff manual of like story stuff. The second manual, that was the shit. It's like, I don't give a fuck about what the game's like. I want to read this. Give me some story.
Now you open it up, and you're lucky. You're lucky if you get a slip of paper that advertises the day 1 DLC.
That is, and then the other side is an advertisement for a different game or something like Xbox Live. That's all the piece of paper is, and it's like, oh
god!
Like that was the good old days.
So can I just say, at work, I promise you guys will understand. I was re-listening to. Remember, I linked you guys to that No Clip documentary channel a while ago.
You mean when I referenced that No Clip documentary channel?
No, you didn't. I did.
Yes, I did. No, oh wait, no, you did.
Yeah, you fucking asshole!
Shit! I'm being an asshole.
Tyler, damn.
What do you mean I made this?
Oh my god.
Hey, no, you didn't. My other buddy did.
Okay, well, I brought it up on the podcast.
I made this.
Oh, fine. No, I made this.
Oh my god. I'm rewatching at work because I don't have enough podcasts. Their Witcher series. Because now that I'm finished, because there was a video I skipped talking about quests because I didn't want to be spoiled when I played it. Now that I'm pretty far in the game, I'm watching it again to include that video. In the first video, they talk about Witcher 1 and 2 from CD Projekt, and they talk about how they made basically a collector's edition of Witcher 1 when they released Witcher 1 in the Polish market. And they're like, sorry, I misspoke. They released a Polish version of like Baldur's Gate, and they made a whole collector's edition of the game. They like built their own map and added D&D supplementary materials to the game. And I'm like, dude, where the fuck is that today? I would buy that in a second if there was one for Witcher 3. Could you imagine like a sick collector's edition of a PC game RPG like that?
That'd be pretty cool.
Now it's just remember. Do you guys remember statues phase?
Yes, where everything had like a statuette included with it.
I have like 2 or 3 Assassin's Creed statues from that phase.
Yo, don't forget, I bought Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh my god, you did.
Don't forget.
Holy shit.
I got the bus of Duke
baby.
around here somewhere.
I was gonna say, do you still own it, or did you throw
Oh
it out?
yeah, of course I have it. I love that game. Yeah, viewers, listeners, I love that game.
Only because the box is basically open in the closet behind the dining room table. I have the death mask from not Darkstalker.
Darksiders.
Darksiders too.
Darksiders?
I have the death mask from that. I have the Assassin's Creed 3. I have one of the Assassin's Creed 2 Ezio statues. I forget which game. What the fuck else do I have? I definitely have some other things that I just used to have on display, and now it's like, well, partially I don't have room because my apartment's a mess, but also like, I get tired of seeing it.
I always think back to like the Halo helmet that came out when that.
I have that.
I was.
Oh, you do?
Millimeters.
Yeah,
from
I still
buying
have
that.
it.
I was so close to buying that when I was a kid, and I made myself be like, no, I'm not going to.
Nah, so you know what happened with mine? So I got, you know how like there's the 3-tiered one that they had?
Yep.
They had the regular. I bought the special edition.
Yep.
Right? Because, you know, I was in high school. I was poor. I couldn't afford
Yep,
the
so you bought the
legendary
middle one, right?
I bought the middle one, but you know what fucking happened? The middle one was just like that tin.
Yep.
Right? But the problem was when you put it back in there, it scratched the disc. And so after about like a year or so, I had to give it back. I rebought it. I went into a get ready for this name.
Oh no.
You're not ready.
Is it
I
EB
went
Games?
into I went into a PC Richards. I went into a PC Richards.
Time to find out if they still exist.
I was
They
checking
do.
it out, right?
Holy
And I
shit, they
saw
do.
it for $70.
Oh, you okay? Then
Oh.
that's
And I was
fair.
like,
that's okay,
I gotta
that's
buy
different.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually mine never scratched enough to stop working. Tyler, did you buy the tin of Halo 2?
Yes, I did.
Yep, me too. I bought every
did.
non-maximum level collector's. I basically bought every non-statuary edition of Halo up until Reach. Yeah, because I have that ODST controller, which was my favorite controller for a long time.
I still, but depending on the game, I will, and if they have it, I will buy the collectors. Like the last one I got was Final Fantasy 15. I got the collector's edition for that.
See, I would if they came out with PC versions because I don't play much on consoles.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm on a PC. That doesn't, just because I have a
Yeah.
Steam account doesn't mean I don't want this cool shit.
Yeah, because you know the console is all about the novelty, man. It's true.
So frustrating. Man, this has been a good discussion. We've kind of been on the collectibles topic this whole time. It's,
We can all agree.
to work.
Fuck Funko Pop toys. Fuck
don't-
brony shit. I'm sorry
So-
if I offend anyone.
You're not sorry. If
I'm not
yeah.
sorry.
So
I'm not.
Here's the thing
I'm
about
really
here's
not.
another comment about Funko. I don't mind that Funko exists. I'm sad that Funko has basically pushed out the realistic, cool-looking statue market. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
No
Yeah.
one buys a cool figurine unless someone knows. Like, we would buy each other a cool statue. Like, Tyler, you gave me the Gundam, the Wing Gundam model that's literally under my monitor on my desk now.
Yeah.
We would buy cool stuff for each other like that, and we'd know spending a little more for that. But parents or grandparents, they're like,
Oh, we're gonna
What
get
is-
little Timmy this
what is
The
John?
Batman
Swallow.
figurine.
Johnny
Yes,
likes
Ben
Star
Swallow.
Wars, so let's get him that Luke Skywalker Funko Pop. It's
Yeah.
$12 at the GameStop.
At the
Kids are gonna love
fucking-
this. It's got fun in its name.
That's the main reason why GameStop will forever be around. It's because they're so simple, mom and dad can just pop on over and get a little.
You've always
fucking
got that
Jimmy.
mom at the GameStop going, "What game would my kid like for Christmas?"
He likes this, and this. What game should I get him? And the guy is always thinking, "Can you just bring your fucking kid in, or get him to write a list down? Because I know that he would not. I know that he'd probably just pick and know immediately." Or these days, they'd be like, "Just buy me a Clash Royale code, Mom. I just want to buy some gems."
Oh, I want to just buy some gems. Damn, but you're not wrong.
I want to sell.
This is now.
I want to have a store that's like. I want to have like that Rick and Morty devil store where they're cursed. I wish you could sell certain. Like, I just want to curse certain items in my store. Like, anyone who comes in and gets a gift card for certain companies, it's like, yeah, you're giving them a curse.
Damn, that's fucked up, Tim.
Tyler, if you
up.
could curse someone who's playing Clash Royale, you would totally do it.
Nah, man, it's already a curse. They're already spending all their fucking money on a shit game. That is the curse.
Is that the case where you just give them the pitying look as they walk by you, staring at your phone? You're like, I feel bad.
Pity as I'm stuffing my fucking pockets with dollar bills.
Oh my god.
Because I'm an asshole.
So,
I mean, I won't even waste my breath on those people. It's like, okay, yeah, here, have your thing. But then someone comes in and they're like, I don't know, I'm referencing some old ass games. Let's just say, what?
No, I was just gonna say, how sad is it that like those like Clash Royale and Clan Royale and all that, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
They make way more money than these games that like Witcher 3 is never going to make as much money as that piece of garbage makes in a month.
Yeah, Clash of Clans is like $1 billion. That company is $1 billion.
Oh my god, I hate it.
They're also
well, they make billions of dollars.
I mean, they're owned by Tencent, which is like the biggest company in the world now.
Fucking Tencent. They weren't owned by Tencent until they got bought by Tencent.
Well, I mean, you could say the same for Riot Games.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about like Microsoft might buy EA or Disney should buy Netflix and stuff. And it's like, I can understand the appeal of mountains of money. I really can. But is there not a point where a company like Netflix is like, dude, we're on top of the game. We're going to fucking go for it.
Like, we're not going to sell.
Like, am I allowed to hope for something like that? Like, I know Netflix fucks up a lot, but can I say, like, I hope Netflix would never sell to someone like Disney or Microsoft wouldn't buy EA?
Nope.
I just don't want that to happen.
Because you live in the real world, Tim, where people say, "Oh man,
where money speaks louder than logic."
Yeah, and everybody's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this because it's my dream. It's because I love it." And then tomorrow, you see that same motherfucker's like, "Yo, but this Bugatti leather seats though."
Maybe it's
and you know I'm right.
Maybe it's just because we've never had mountains of extra, like not even, that's not the royal we. I'm saying like literally the three of us.
Yeah.
None of us have ever come from lives where we had mountains of extra money or anything like that. And maybe I just don't see the appeal. Like, isn't there a point where, like, I understand having lots of money is great because then you can invest in things like that. Or you could be like Elon Musk and be a crazy, awesome, rich guy. But like, is there not a point where someone buys you out and it's like, what do you need all that money for? I know that that's probably the down-to-earth, boring person view because I don't think in terms of, like, stock and Walmart or, like, investing in Bitcoin or shit like that. But, like, is there not a point where there's... how much more stuff do you need? I guess the collectible thing, this is almost tied to collectibles. Like, people who spend a lot of money on it don't usually have mountains of extra cash. Like, the person who owns almost every Star Wars game ever is not a billionaire. They're just a person who's really passionate and puts all their extra money towards this goal because that's what they like. But if that person was crazy rich and they bought all the toys that they wanted, like, what else is there? Is there not a point where, like, I own 10 cars? Like, cool, I guess?
No, there isn't. It doesn't stop.
It's just frustrating.
It doesn't stop. You know, it's frustrating to us, right? And I hate saying this, I always like I want to say like if I ever hit it big, right? Like, oh, you know what? I'm going to stay humble, but like
see, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like Man, I feel like I'd buy a few commander decks, maybe get some nicer furniture, build a new computer.
Hell no,
like
you
that.
would go.
No,
out
you're buying every vintage deck.
You're buying every vintage deck.
I wouldn't. Okay, so that's
you buy one.
That's just even being practical. There's no one to play it with.
Well, like you would go out and you would be like, "Oh, I'm buying a house. Oh, I'm buying my parents a house."
You would get a framed set of Power 9.
See, but I imagine, like, I mean, everyone has the talk all the time about what would you do if you won the lottery. Like, I struggle to think how okay, let's say there was a $20 million jackpot and you won. I legitimately struggle to think of how I would spend on the absolute outside after I spent all my bills $500,000, depending on how nice of a house or whatever like that, maybe $1 million. But like, I struggle to see how you can even spend all that money.
Yo, you can.
No, I've got my goal pretty realistic. Nice apartment, greatest fucking TV I can find.
But that's what I mean.
Story. I'm entertained for life.
That's not infinite money. That's if you were handed enough money for that right now, I feel like I genuinely believe I would hit a point where I was like, I'm just gonna save a lot of this and like give people money and not worry about money anymore, but not like I'd still want to work.
I could use another car.
See, I might buy a new car, but I wouldn't buy another car. I'm too practical. I'm way too practically minded.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's hard. No, it's hard. Like that. I like to think of myself as that too, but I don't know. I've seen too many people just be like, "Oh, hey, this is it now," and it sucks.
But is the reason we don't think anyone who makes it big doesn't stay humble because those people stay humble and don't do big flashy things with their money?
Well, I don't know if it's even that. I don't even know it's the flashy bit, but like there's the want of making it big, right? Like say like we're like the three of us make an indie company, right? And then out of nowhere EA comes out and they're like, "Yo, we're going to give you X amount of money." And like in our minds maybe it's like, well, EA is kind of like fucked up, but like hey, like this is us getting our dream, like this is our dream being accomplished, right? Like, you know, getting bought out by EA means like we made it, right? And then it's like you realize like, okay, maybe it wasn't the best idea.
But is getting bought out a dream? I mean, I know it is for some people, but like
yeah, man, like the going in with the possible realistic like fantasy or unrealistic fantasies like, oh, you know, well, you guys will get to do whatever you want, but like, you know, we're gonna have this guy just kind of sit in and, you know, he'll talk to you guys every once in a while. And it turns out that guy who's just supposed to be in the background, he turns into the guy who's like, listen, if you don't push it like this, then we're gonna cancel your game.
I mean, I guess I can't say too much because I have been watching Shark Tank like crazy lately.
and like that's the deal. Like the money controls it. Like no matter what kind of creative decision is best for the game or the movie, it all comes down to these producers and whether or not it's like, okay, well, they want the money, they want to sell the product at the end of the day.
I agree with
that's
you.
What it is, it's a product.
But then the dream lives when I play Witcher. Because that, I know I keep going on about how great Witcher is, and it's not me trying to say that. This is a case of it's a miracle this game is so good, and I know it's because they did whatever the fuck they wanted and took his... Look at Cyberpunk. It seems impossible to think Cyberpunk is going to be a bad game.
But we haven't seen anything.
It could be a bad game. My money is on it not being a bad game because CD Projekt seems like the kind of people who are like, we don't give a fuck how long it takes. We are going to do this so right and so good. That's it.
See, I could say the same thing about Rockstar, but then LA Noire was a thing.
But they didn't develop it, did they? Didn't that Australian company develop it?
I
thought it wasn't the main studio. Like, wasn't it side stuff? I thought that wasn't really their main push.
I don't know. It was a main game. It was a main Rockstar title.
I thought it was.
Was there a collector's edition of that game?
Yeah, right.
Got him.
Got him. Yeah, now we're
We're kind of going off, but
I just let you two go off on that one. I didn't give any input. And you guys just went completely off topic.
no, but it's almost tied together because it's still like it's like
it goes back to the optimization of money, right?
Yeah,
it's like companies they're making these decisions to do so, right? And the only people that are keeping in with these collector's editions, like mostly Japanese companies, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, they know that they're gonna, like, their main core market, right, which is the Asian community, they're going to buy these collector's items.
Mm-hmm.
They know for a fact, so they're gonna keep doing that. And you're gonna milk it for as long as you could. But
it's like whales in the game industry. They have that group of people. The concept of whales, like the people they know are going to spend a shit ton of money, regardless of what they do.
Isn't it like? This isn't an official stat, but I feel like the stats are always like less than 1% of the players in a game like Clash of Clans pay for like 80% of the income.
I believe it, and that's the thing, and like that, if anything, like that's why mobile games. I mean, they're still big, but it's like you think about it. For better example, right? Even though it's not the best example, it's still a good example. MotoGP that I worked on, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dev time on that was, if they did any better on it, if they did it correctly, they would have done it in under a year, right? Like just to make the base game.
Yeah.
Now, currently, I'm gonna say that this number's fibbed because I'm more than positive this dude bought like downloaders, like downloading numbers. So let's just say the game is at like, I don't know, 500,000 downloads.
Okay.
Just on Android alone, that's a bunch of ad time plus any of the money, like the microtransactions, compared to these AAA games that are about 2 to 3 years, like, you know, the same time as a blockbuster filmed. Yeah, not only that, the team size is smaller, but they're making money literally hand over fist.
Yep.
You're not buying these. You're not getting like, oh my god, Marty O'Donnell, right? You're not getting Kevin Spacey for these like mobile games or anything like that. I mean, the only thing you're spending money on, right, are these 30-second ad spots, right? And you'll get like a main actor or actress to play it, and that's literally all the money you're spending on, plus the dev team.
Can I just say, I'm not trying to break your train of thought, Tyler, but you just gave me a crazy thought. How fucked would Call of Duty as a franchise have been if that game had come out this year?
Oh, 100%. That game would have died.
Dude, can you imagine? Like, Call of Duty would have been on as soon as that broke, oh my god, Activision must have been like, thank fucking god, we're 2 Call of Duty cycles away from
Oh yeah, they
holy shit.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing, because like the actors and like any talent, right? They are like the household item. They're the ones that sell the movie. That's why they get most of the budget. Unfortunately, that's how it goes.
Yeah,
that's just how it works. Like the marketing, and actually, if no one is in, you guys might have heard of Extra Credits, right?
I've heard of it. I haven't really watched them.
Yeah, that's like one of the only like YouTube channels I actually just watch. They go in depth a lot about game development. In their last video, they talked about budgeting games and how they were saying that it's basically, you know, it's common to see almost as much money go into the marketing as much as it does the actual development.
That's why they usually say a movie has to make twice what the cost was, because they don't report the cost of marketing.
Right.
So it needs to usually make double what it costs to break even, because they spent that much on marketing as well.
Because the marketing is crucial. Like the marketing, you know, is just that. Like that's why names sell so much. That's why we see it goes back to like, you know, why there's so many remakes, right? Or so many film adaptations of like games or other shit.
Oh god. Because
the name sells. Like I can definitely tell you, Kevin Spacey probably sold some people, like when that game came out.
Oh yeah,
right. But yeah, same thing with the collector's editions. Same thing with everything. But yeah, I kind of forgot where I was going on with. Shit. Anyway,
we should probably just go to closing weeks because it is 10:10 and we've been going for over 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Probably wind on down. Not much from the comments for last week. The only real one was GG Man asking us to talk about Code Geass, which happened.
I realized during the break I completely underplayed the fact that Code Geass is a mecha anime. Robots do play an important role, and I did not even remotely bring that up in our description.
I don't. You know what? I don't think it does.
Legs?
I don't think they do.
For the first season, they play way bigger a role. In the second season, they do this trope that I didn't realize was a thing, so I started watching more robot anime recently. If you've got a 2-season show, there is always an upgrade to someone's robot in between season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
The mid-season upgrade. I'm watching Valvrave the Liberator, and they're just like popping these upgrades out of nowhere in season 2. And Geass does that too. Like second season, shit starts flying. The robots get more ridiculous.
Dude, there's also always one person whose mech suit breaks, and they get an upgrade off of that every time.
Yeah.
The G Gundam.
But I don't think, at least not in the first season, I didn't feel. I almost felt like it was almost a flavor, like an accessory to what was actually going on.
For the first part, it plays more of a role because this secondary protagonist, he's a robot pilot. So all of his shit revolves around him and his robot and how it's better than everyone else's until halfway through they're like, gotcha, we all upgraded. Now we're all equal. Oh wait, he can fly? What the fuck? And that's the progression of robots on Geass before it gets more about political intrigue and backstabbing.
The only other comment from last week, and we got no comments on our Magic episode over the weekend other than great podcast from one guy.
Oh, you know it was.
Was Kid Creator talking about, I should have brought this up earlier, but another great villain is Kreia from KOTOR 2. Her manipulative and cunning nature made her a more compelling villain compared to Darth Malak in KOTOR 1. Very true. As is classic with Obsidian games at this point, it seems like they make much more interesting and nuanced characters, but their games are buggy as shit and therefore don't sell as well.
Yo, man, Skyrim is buggy as fuck.
Yeah, but Fallout New Vegas is probably buggier.
Fallout New Vegas is probably one of the most broken games I've ever played.
I mean, apparently everyone gives Obsidian no time to work, and then they have lots of bugs, and people are like, why is this so buggy? I mean, the same thing happened with KOTOR 2. KOTOR 2 is a very unfinished game. That's why there's thousands of mods about restoring the content of that game.
Oh, I brain farted. You're talking about Obsidian, the devs.
What'd you think I was talking about?
I don't know. I'm just because I was just thinking about Fallout and like just Bethesda in general.
I mean, Fallout New Vegas to Skyrim. I mean, that was Bethesda.
Well, Skyrim was not Obsidian though.
No. I know. I trust me. I know. But I'm saying, in terms of like the Bethesda catalog of Fallout and Elder Scrolls, it was New Vegas into Skyrim, so there is kind of a connection there. But yeah, on that, we don't really have any comments from the podcast, so let's just do our upcoming weeks. Go ahead, Tyler.
So I'm gonna tell you why I'm salty today.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna tell you why I'm upset
about the collectibles. Real salty.
About the collectibles. No, so some update on that firearm that I had tried to buy.
I thought you had successfully.
Yeah, we didn't know there was a tried
part. There are some problems. And thanks to New Jersey regulations,
hell yeah,
my firearm had to be modified, right? Which I had a feeling, right, was gonna happen, but I didn't know it was gonna take $200 worth of modifying.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so that brings it to almost close to $1,000.
Jeez, what had to be modified?
The flash hider that was on it.
You had a flash suppressor?
I didn't. Okay, listen. I bought this thing. All these things were stock on it.
Wow.
It just came with the gun. It came with it. It came with that. It came with a bayonet lug.
Holy shit! Does that mean every one sold in New Jersey has to be modified?
Yep.
I think so.
Holy shit.
We are very restrictive here.
Oh, my dad was super pissed when he was trying to get a pistol license.
Holy shit, no.
New Jersey doesn't want you to have a pistol.
Yeah, which is, I feel like it's as strict as like, I don't know. I think it's kind of dumb. They go super OD because like, oh well, because crimes are more committed with a handgun than they are long guns.
No, they are totally. But unless I'm mistaken, my dad said that like 30+ states all have a shared firearm thing where if you have a license in one of those states, you can carry. It counts in the other state, and New Jersey is one of the only ones that's not linked like that.
Yeah, because they don't have concealed carry, and a lot of these things is because of the population density, and stuff like that. Like actually, if you go to other cities, right, like New York has it, but like if you go within city limits, they all have the same kind of thing. Chicago, you're not allowed to own a gun, right? Like without like any reason. New York City, Philadelphia, you can't own like really firearms. If you go outside those city limits, though, you get pretty much free range to do anything. Like Arizona, a lot of the stuff in Arizona is a pretty bad example. They really don't give a shit out there.
Exactly. I was gonna say they're like second to Texas in terms of we don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I have seen many people open carry out there. It's actually really. It's weird. It's a different world.
Do it when I went to Texas twice.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. But to continue with this, so it gets weird, right? So it's like I'm looking at the receipt and I'm like, okay, well this is odd. They have to do all this shit, whatever, fine. They have to do what they have to do. And so I get there yesterday, right? And they're like, okay, so here's all your stuff, here's your gun, and he opens it up. And I'm looking at him like, wait a second. There's nothing different about this thing. They didn't take off anything.
What?
For real?
I swear to God. And so I'm like, so after we're talking about everything, I fill out the paperwork. I'm like, hey, man, so like, what did you do with all those parts? And he's like, what do you mean? You know, all those parts that you had to switch out because, you know, regulations. And by the way, it's like, you're not supposed to have more than 2 items on your firearm that are considered assault upgrades.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like they reclassify if you have enough add-ons, it's now an assault weapon.
Anything more than 1.
Anything that looks scary.
Yeah, so like you can have. So you're not supposed to have it, but like you can have a 30-round mag, but you can't have the 30-round mag in like something else.
Yeah. Okay. So what did he say?
Yeah. So he said, "Oh yeah, so you can have this stuff," and I'm like, "Right."
What?
But it's all. Listen to this shit.
Keep going.
You watch as you get tilted, as I was.
Oh boy.
So he's like, "Okay, so you can." I think he said like, yeah. So like the flash hider is like whatever. We just had to like swap out the tip. We didn't have to replace the whole barrel, but we're charging you for it anyway, basically, which was like $100+ for that. And then he's like, and then for the magazine, and the adjustable stock, we have to put a pin in it. And I'm like, excuse me? And they're like, oh yeah, you just pick like where you want it, and then we put the pin in it. And then we put the pin in the magazine, so it goes down to 15. But it's like you could break that and like still use it the way you want to. And I'm like, what? And I was pissed. I was pissed because it's like, okay, you're charging literally all this money to say to me you are modifying this firearm. But what you're really doing is just putting your finger in the hole and saying it's fixed.
Yep. It's like they put their finger behind the trigger and said you can't fire the gun anymore. It's physically impossible. $200, please.
Yeah, and that bothers me.
Hell yeah.
On a whole, it bothers me more that they're charging me for pins.
Yep.
Than anything. Like, this is the last time I'm ever gonna do something like this. At least at that store. I know if I go somewhere else, they're gonna like at least level with me and be like, "Listen, we're gonna charge you for like this much."
You're gonna find a less sketchy gun store.
No, it's probably gonna be more sketchy, and they're just gonna like not be assholes about it. And now I understand. Like it, I don't know. It's just this has been a learning experience, and I'm gonna
All right. Anything else actually going on this week though?
Yeah, no. So just I know I had to vent
No,
about it.
It's fine.
Crazy.
I'm just getting texts from Val saying, "Hurry up and finish the podcast already." So.
Yeah, we're gonna finish more D&D because apparently I'm just D&D. 50-hour weeks are starting for me at work, so that's also nice.
Tyler.
Yeah, it's amazing. And that's all I got.
So D&D and work.
Yep.
Oh man,
Freeman.
Since you mentioned work, I'm supposed to oversee a product launch today. It got pushed back to next Tuesday, so hopefully the podcast isn't impacted by this at all. But in terms of my week, I did mention Steins Gate Zero. I'm gonna see if I can try and play some of it. Unfortunately, the room with the big TV in my house is basically occupied 24/7, so I may just have to relocate my PS4 to a suboptimal television for this one. Other than that, Guild Wars 2 had their mega balance patch today on top of their Chinese New Year event, which also, we forgot to talk about, Overdank did that too. So I'll probably be playing at least one of those, trying to figure out what the fuck's going on with the new balance in both those games, and just do the events for new skins and stuff.
Okay.
What else? I think that's pretty much it. Probably just more anime.
Sweet.
Somewhere in there. Always going to happen. New Darling in the Franxx.
I'm just kind of doing whatever. I just started, so this is a very short-sighted thing. I already tweeted about this a few days ago when it happened, but over the weekend, on Sunday morning, I was trying to record KOTOR for my ongoing Mr. Pazak Let's Play. And all of a sudden, so I was going through Korriban, doing whatever, I was like a half hour in, and I ran into a bug where I went into a room, door locks behind me, pick up the objective, and when you try to leave, there's these two Siths standing there, and it's the Master of the Academy and his apprentice, and they talk to you, and you side with one of them, and they try to kill you. You help them kill the other one, and the other one inevitably betrays you, and then you either kill the other one too, or fight both at the same time, or one of them you can turn to the light side, but that's it. Problem, I can't get a combat to trigger. Every single dialogue tree, I tried every single combination of options. They all led to an error where it just would bug out, and I would just be able to walk around and nothing happened. Like, whatever trigger needed to happen wasn't happening, and the door was locked, can't get out, can't continue, so that LP is literally dead now.
Wow.
Damn.
Jesus.
I saved the footage. If I ever go back, honestly, I was getting kind of tired of it. It was kind of a joke LP where I was pretending to be this character, Mr. Pazak, but I've played the game so much, and I was just blasting through it. And I wanted to play more Witcher.
Damn.
So I was like,
damn, you're fiending, dude.
Well, it's not even that, but it also is. This was my third season of the game, and there's a fan remake project called Aperion, which whenever it comes out in years, probably I'm gonna Let's Play it again. So I'm like, I can give it up. So then I tweeted out, what's a good idea for an LP that I should start? And Cypher was like, why don't you finally do your Halo Wars 2 Let's Play?
Oh boy.
And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. I never did do that. I went onto my Steam because I thought I bought it, and I only have Halo Wars Definitive Edition, the re-release of the Xbox version on PC. So, since I don't feel like buying Halo Wars 2 right now, and I never did a full Let's Play of Halo Wars 1, I only did a quickie years and years ago, I decided I'm going to do a Let's Play of Halo Wars Definitive Edition, then segue right into Halo Wars 2 once this is done. So today I recorded the first session. By the time this comes out, if you're listening to the audio really right away, this is a spoiler for within the next 12 hours. Or if you're listening to this on YouTube or later, it has started, and Halo Wars Definitive Edition Let's Play is now live on YouTube at some episode count. It was fun. I did about an hour and 45 minutes for the first 6 missions. The game was definitely not rebuilt from the ground up. There are some optimizations they made, but there are definitely some things that are very not perfectly optimized, but that's okay. It's still fun to do a kind of simple base buildy Halo game. Other than that, I'm just playing more Witcher. I told my coworkers this, but I actually recorded on Saturday, and I got to one of the major plot points, like this huge battle that'll be out like next week because I have so much recorded. And I'm like, oh, I'm almost done with the game. Act 3.
Hell yeah.
I'm at like almost 80 hours by now.
But see, that's awesome though. 80 hours of a game and you're not tired of it.
Dude, I'm so not tired of it. That's
why something special.
Legitimately, this game is super special. But that means there's plenty more Witcher to come, and I'm recording it every chance I get because I also got an achievement during that right before that session. Complete every Witcher contract in the game. So now I know that now that Act 3 has started, it looks like they don't really create new side quests and new Witcher contracts. They're kind of just all out in the world right away, and it's just supposed to be level capped. But I over-leveled and did all of them, and now I'm on the main quest, and I'm too high level, but I've done all the side stuff, so now I'm just blowing through the main quest stuff. And it's funny, I'm actually playing less off-camera by a huge margin than I was even a week ago, but I'm trying to record more because I'm jonesing for main quest stuff, and there's no more side content. So it's like, well, I can't do the main plot unless I'm recording, and I want to do the main plot, so I guess I just got to record more. But I'm having a blast with the game. The game is so fun and so satisfying. I'm really loving it. If I had played it the year it came out, it probably would have been my game of the year, and it's certainly starting out as my game of 2018. We'll see how Shadow of War is and how Halo Wars 2 is, but yeah. So that's what I'm doing for a little while. I have no idea how long it'll take me to beat fucking Witcher 3. Other than that, though, I ordered, Freeman, we talked about an upgrade I wanted to make to one of my commander decks on the podcast, the Lycia tap stuff. I ordered those cards. It was $30.
That's not bad.
Other than that, really not doing much else. I was potentially going to join a new D&D group at my game store, but they haven't contacted me, and I don't really want to because they play very normal, serious D&D, and we play our goofy bullshit version of D&D.
Super goofy bullshit D&D.
We really do. It's totally we play so
Do you
badly.
prefer super goofy or you prefer super serious?
Both have merits.
They both have their merits. Like last week, we did a dungeon crawl, and we the whole party minus my character, which is actually the first time in a while. I'm usually the one on death's door. Everybody almost died.
Oh man,
we almost all got TPK'd.
Tyler, I didn't want to steal your answer, but I knew that you would think the same thing because I know you've played both also. Freeman, there really are benefits to both. Our version is a lot of fun because we can focus on the interactions between each other, but there is definitely something to be said for having figures on a board that you have to strategically move around and focus on positioning in combat and actually think about like how far you have to run and things like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot more strategic thing, but we just do it for the fun of it, and that has its own merits too, for sure. But anyway,
oh yeah, I'm also, that's right, I forgot I'm doing that too. Did I tell you guys I'm running a one-shot?
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, you told us you were gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm putting that, I'm starting to prep that.
Sweet. Can't wait to
That's gonna affect your world. It's gonna be great.
Excited.
My world.
My world.
Synthwave in the distance.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you guys won't know about it though for like a while. It takes
cool.
place in the future.
Sweet. All right, but that is going to be us this week for the TNT podcast. Assuming we're not canceled in the interim, we're going to be back next week with more of our ramblings. But until then, my name is Tim.
I'm Friedman.
And just Tyler.
And we will catch you guys next week. Thanks for listening.